We're going live. We're in the process of going live, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting.
In the process.
It's in the process. And then it'll start. Once I see it start, then I'll
Is
say,
it the Prada process?
No, not the product process. It's the process
All right.
Yeah.
For those who know
We're
the
live.
All right. So what's up, everybody? OJ here. Welcome back to another PE podcast, episode 104. We've got a lot of stuff to discuss, guys. And I want to give a big shout out to, before we even get started, shout outs to Marcos Gonzalez. Thank you for the tune in tier pledge. Appreciate that. Welcome to the Elite Ninja Village. Thank you for remembering. So we got a lot of stuff to discuss. We've got some cool peeps here to do so. So I'm going to introduce everybody. Right below me is Big Z. Big Z, how you doing tonight?
Good. I've been playing a lot of Duke Nukem.
That's good, man. Duke Nukem sounds good. Right next to him is VC VSips. How you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. Well, I'm not doing the best. My PC's had issues lately, but aside from that, I'm doing all right. I have a different area I'm in right now, and I wasn't around last week. My PC, and I'm gonna get a brand new one. But this is usually my setup for videos. For like couch stuff, like I don't know, impression videos, analysis, talk, and discussions, stuff like that. But aside from that, I've been all right. Playing a lot of Brigandine, Legend of Runetercia, Xenoblade Future Connected. Playing a lot of Kingdom Hearts. I was getting my butt whooped last night. I'm playing on proud mode for the first time for Birth by Sleep, Ventus Route. It was painful. Very painful. It was 3 in the morning, and I'm just like, why can't I beat this? Why? But I'm here, I'm alive, and we're kicking once again. Thank you for having me on for another episode. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for taking the time out of your night to come onto the stream. And then, of course,
I'm glad.
Last but definitely not least, is Avedon. Avedon, how you doing tonight?
What's going on, OJ? What's going on, PE Podcast? Thank you once again for having me on. It's going to be a big night tonight. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, got a lot of stuff to talk about. So let's go and let's get into some of these topics, man. First and foremost, we've got some issues. That's just to say the least. That's putting it mildly. We've got some issues in the FGC / Smash community. This week has been pretty much has been D-Day. Has been
when you said that, I was reminded of a Snoop Dogg song when you said that.
Oh, I mean, it's everyone's been getting canceled left and right, man. It is like legit real canceled, guys. So we're gonna try to break it down the best that we can and try to put it together so we can just get everybody's impressions instead of going over things one by one and everybody's scenario. We're not gonna do that. Basically, what we're gonna say is this. Major players within the Super Smash Bros. Community. So the most popular player in the world, which I do think that he's the most popular player in the world, and that is Nairo, has been essentially admitted to sexual misconduct with a minor at the time. That was a problem, and he's been dropped by his organization. He's taken a break from because like those allegations came out and they're real with evidence. So he got caught, or he got Zach decided to tell his story. Then we had the most popular commenter in the world, or what was it, broadcaster, I don't know what would you say, like a commentator in the world, or for Smash Brothers, more like it, D1. He also got called out for multiple incorrect, I would say, sexual misconduct, with different women in the Smash Brothers community. So that was bad. Then also another popular commentator, Keitaro from the Smash Brothers community, also was implicated in some statutory, along with like Nairo, with a girl that was 16, which he admitted to as well, and apologized and said, I thought she was this age, blah, 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 or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? Which implemented another person as well, which was Anti, which is another one of the most popular players in the Smash Bros. Community. And then on top of all of that, if that wasn't enough for you guys, we also had Evo 2020 being canceled. First, it was, hey, we're going to get rid of Evo, because of COVID. But then we're going to do an online event with multiple different online games, Mortal Kombat and other stuff like that. But the co-founder, Joey, I think is Mr. Wizard, he got caught, or he basically old allegations resurfaced from years ago of misconduct from him too. So now that's pretty much been canceled. Evo Online has been canceled. People are being refunded. Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, all the different people that were supporting the Evo Online event have pulled out of it Multiple players have pulled out. Sonic Fox was like, I'm not going. So until they got rid of him, and pretty much they severed all ties with him as well. And he was literally the co-founder he's the creator of Evo along with the other guy. So so it's been a rough week, man, because nobody would have expected this. So people have been looking for solutions. People have been looking for where's to go next. So I want to get you guys' thoughts on this. I guess I'll start off with Big Z. Big Z, what are your thoughts on whatever you want to touch on? You know, you don't have to touch on everything, but wherever you want to touch on, go ahead and feel free.
Well, first of all, I'm not touching any kids. That's wrong.
That's wrong.
Well, you obviously
we already went there. We already going there. Come on now.
You just stole what I said before we started the stream. Come on.
Stop this.
Yes, but I know a number of pro Tekken players, and Smash Brothers in the fighting community already doesn't have a good reputation because a lot of players feel very elitist or a lot of different reasons. So this doesn't help the case for the stereotypes and the Smash community as a whole, and it shines a light on the greater issue of predators and what interactions should be had at these types of events or even outside of them. So it's such a complicated thing. I don't even feel comfortable commenting about how to fix the problem because I've never had an issue with it, but I know people have, and I don't know what to tell them because it's such a widespread issue.
Mm-hmm.
Know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
I feel it.
Yeah. What about you, VC? What's your thought process, man?
Well, as Big Z had pointed to, like, just keep your hands to yourself. Like, I feel like we could have learned this growing up. I know I did. Keep your hands to yourself. Don't touch anyone. No reason to do that. Just be to yourself. And if someone tries to punch you, of course, punch back. Obviously, that's different. That's me personally. That's how I am.
Well, it's not about fighting. This isn't about fighting.
Of course.
Yeah.
I know. I'm making the comparison different to one thing to another. Like, this whole situation is horrible, and it's snowballing into showing how bad the situation really is. This is truly the tip of the iceberg. There's tons of people who still haven't came out yet, and there's probably people who were in the community back in the Melee era who left the community entirely, and it's still weighing on their conscience years later. Like, those kinds of people definitely do exist. So I just think this is something that's very unfortunate. It kind of also highlights why Nintendo probably has never had an interest to support the online community in general when it comes to Smash, when it comes to competitive play as well. And they even took down the video of Nairo earlier today as well that they had for their interview. So
I figured
overall,
that would be taken down. Yeah.
Of course they would take it down. But there's also some stuff with Cinepi, which you didn't mention yet, which is also still on their channel currently, but they're going to probably be doing that soon too.
I didn't know she was on their channel. What was she on their channel for?
Commentating for the 2019 Smash Ultimate Nintendo tournament. For Smash.
Yeah, that also needs to be taken down ASAP.
Yeah, they're gonna be taking that down probably as well. Yep. But overall, just please keep your hands to yourself. Like, if you go to tournaments for any game, no matter what it is, it doesn't matter. Just be a civil, nice, genuine person. Keep your hands to yourself. Don't be a creep. People will knock you out. Like, if they actually would stand up for someone that's there in need. But that's the issue. Is like, we know many people have known these things for years and have said nothing at all for years. That's something even worse because most of those people were in the top or the hierarchy of the commentators for Smash,
let me comment
the players
on that.
And the content creators.
Let me comment on that real quick, just so people know, like, okay, so there's been some issues going around with that in terms of, and I think there's an interesting, not interesting, but there's a dynamic with that, right? Especially with this whole Nairo situation, because, you know, there were people that knew, but both Captain Zach and Nairo, obviously they were begging them as friends to not say anything, you know? So there is a dynamic there, but there are other people that potentially knew and said nothing. But let's just also just keep that, you know, in mind, that there were people that knew, but at the same time, you know, those two were begging them, please don't say anything. So it's like, it goes into like your dynamic as a friend to like what, and then what happens, you know what I'm saying?
What about accountability?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But
I know my friend would say some real messed up shit just to make me realize I'm doing some messed up shit just by telling me what's up, what I'm doing wrong. I know that's what a real friend would do. And
absolutely,
it just goes to show that some people just care about their standings and being able to talk with someone that's at a certain stature in a community like this. And it's just how it is for multiple communities across not just gaming, but even in music, even in fashion, everything.
Music is bad too.
The music industry is the worst out of all of them.
Oh, music industry.
We have so many
I want
I
to.
have so many stories.
The music industry is it's pretty awful when it comes to certain things.
The music industry, but I would dare say the acting industry is probably by far the worst.
Oh yeah,
out of all.
Hollywood acting.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they're all 10 times. I would say they're all 10 times worse than what we're seeing here because the money involvement is 10 times more than what we're seeing here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, because
I hope more people
involved.
keep coming out though and saying their stories. Honestly, I hope that happens because more people need to be able to speak out. I'm pretty sure that there's at least hundreds and thousands of other people who have went through certain situations like this.
To shed some light on this and everything, and I gave some thought about this earlier today, and I even gave some thought to when OW did your live stream about Cinepie, and it's like I'm noticing that there's a trend of a lot of people either coming out whether whether the allegations are true, and in some cases which you follow Rich Review Tech, he's proven that some cases allegations have been false. So and we're not gonna get into any names with that, but one of the things, let's just stay on the ones that are true. One of the things that I'm noticing is, and by no means am I defending any predators of that nature, but in many cases, if you do a deeper study, predators have been abused themselves. And it's also, they are often replicating things that they've been afflicted with. And I feel as though
that's not defending them.
That makes a lot of sense, though. I can
that's
see
not
that
defending.
totally.
That's like saying bullies get bullied. It's like
but it's technically true. Same with the enablers. In their own families, they see that type of stuff in their own family, and they let it happen. Just go to their friends, and then when they see that situation happen, even with their friends, they let it happen. They enable it. It's that kind of thing too, included.
And I want to make one thing clear, because I see what T3 said. T3, I'm not saying it's okay. That's why I said I am not defending them. Okay. So it's not defending them, but what I am expressing is there is a place where help needs to be given, because where I want to get at, and this could be probably. Nah, I appreciate you, TH3. I appreciate you. So one of the things I want to make clear, and I'm not trying to make this a super deeper conversation and everything. I'm not even getting political, but this comes to a place where rehabilitation is needed. I believe when you just say send them to prison and let them rot for X amount of years, that doesn't help them. That doesn't rehabilitate them. That doesn't train more to make better for society. And I feel as though there needs to be help. And I feel as though if you could start with there, more people would be more encouraged to speak out. Because what intimidates people is we have a justice system that is based on who could tell the better story. Who could tell the better story is based on money half the times. And that is a problem. That is why a lot of people aren't really speaking out, because what's going on, Baron?
What's up, Baron?
What's good?
That's why a lot. So just go ahead, keep on going.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people aren't speaking out, because it's like it's almost like prison, especially for women. It's like I know women who've been through certain things, and it's almost like there's a mental imprisonment because you don't want to hear, "Wow, this person couldn't have done that," because everybody has the rose-colored glasses of seeing that person, of the image that they have built up, and they don't see reality, and they can't see the reality that happened to that person. So that's why a lot of people don't speak out. And because there has been a lot of situations that, more people are getting outed, they are trying their best to speak out. And I want to say, it's like you're saying, it's like VC, I hope more people do come out, but let's use Pape for an example, right? Can any of us imagine, since the majority of us are men in here, that took a lot of courage for him to speak out. Because 9 times out of 10, what's one of the number one things that happens if a man, because he's 18 now, I believe, says he was sexually abused by a woman?
People say, "Hey, well, I wish I was in his shoes."
Exactly. And to someone who experienced, it's like by that, it's like we do ourselves, as men, as a disservice, because from there it creates a falsehood that I have to hold this trauma in and not express that. So I hope
it's like a stigma that you have to enjoy sex, no matter, and it can't be bad in any way, shape, or form.
Exactly.
Regardless of who.
And I think that once again, this thing can get so deep, right? It goes into a cultural thing because, yes, a lot of 14-year-olds some 14-year-olds have an advanced mind. You know what I'm saying? In that situation, I don't think he wasn't looking for it. Obviously, that was predator type behavior on her part. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of 14-year-olds in that situation would not see it that way. They'd be like, I got my shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so it goes so there's a dynamic that we need to remove that. Okay, it's okay for boys to get some. You know what I'm saying? That dynamic needs to be removed.
It's the double standard.
It's the double
exactly
the double standard. Because I'm telling you something right now. I talked about on my live streams. There were times where yes, I had encounters with women that were 20 or I was 15 and they were 20. You know what I'm saying? And I would not want anything to happen to them. Obviously, like, I'm not going to say who they were or anything like that, but I don't want anything to happen to them because at that time I was like, heck, dude, I'm growing up, you know? Whereas if you reverse the situation, that to me, I'm like, no, women, absolutely not. 14-year-old girl, 15-year-old, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely not. It's a little child. Like, so that mentality is out there. You know what I'm saying? We all grew up, I know me and Avedon, right? That was, that's just how it was. And so that mentality needs to be removed.
It is still out there.
Yeah, it's still there.
It's still
to a degree. It's still there. It's much better now than it was before.
Thank you. But thank you for saying that.
It still needs to be removed. It needs to be removed completely. But it's hard for me to shake everything because I know certain 14-year-old guys and how they act and what they do. You know what I'm saying? And even then, it's not right. But even then, you know. But this kid, Puppe, this is not the same situation. I don't think his mind was mentally ready for that. I think he was physically pulled into something, and I think he was preyed upon. I don't think his mind was there. I really don't, and I think it's really scarring.
I think another term is mentally abused.
Yeah,
I think that's another term for it.
There's many forms of abuse. Thank you for saying that, VP.
She abused him, whereas
on multiple levels.
In my situation with the girls that I was with, they didn't abuse me. It wasn't. There was no abuse. It was like, hey, this is something. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whereas with, like, she actually thought there was going to be some type, or he actually thought there was going to be some type of relationship. You know what I'm saying? And he got, like, yeeted. He got, like, yoinked. And she's like, oh, well, I got a boyfriend now. You know? So, like, but it would be a 4-year wait before they can even say anything. So that's the problem with the manipulation. Like, he went into it in his twit longer and all that. So this type of stuff is bad, man. This type of stuff is just not good. You know, not good. There was no peer. I mean, there's been peer pressure. There's been stuff like that. But I mean, I think we all need to look at solutions. So I think the biggest solution that I've been seeing across Twitter is that they're now starting to restrict alcohol at some of these events. They're starting to restrict. Need to be if you want to sign up for tournaments, you need to be accompanied by, like, if you're under 18, you need to be, like, with a guardian. They're starting to do stuff like stuff like that. So age limits. You know, so there's things that they're starting to do. So what would be the solution to help with some of these issues that we're having here? Anyone want to take a crack at that?
Go for it. I
gotta
go. What the hell is going on? I don't know. I have no clue. I have no clue what's going on with this.
Baron, I just found out today myself.
I just got on the tail end of it like yesterday. I don't know what happened.
I just found out today myself, dude. So it's all good.
Just give me the.
Imagine 3 dozen people do horrible things to young minors or women.
We have sexual abuse at the highest level.
At least 2 dozen to 3 dozen
of competitive
different people confirmed.
Sexual abuse of minors.
Basically in the Smash community,
Smash and FGC,
and FGC,
yeah.
So was it a girl or something?
Multiple
girls,
both
sides,
both
kids,
sides.
Yeah,
everything.
both sides, man.
Literally everything, Baron.
You know the Smash Brothers player Nairo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
He's canceled.
He's canceled.
What did he do? The PG version.
He had an improper.
There really isn't a PG
version with the minor. There is a PG. He had an improper relationship with the minor.
Yeah. It's all
how
bad.
old is he? Because I don't even know how old.
At the time, it was 20, and the boy was 15.
Oh.
See, he's 23 now, so it was 3 years ago. So the boy was 15, and he was 20.
And
Okay.
Go ahead.
I get what y'all saying now, because y'all was talking about the women talking to younger men.
Well, that was also
that was also in something
that might
else.
even be a little. That's actually worse because the boy was 14 and the girl was 24.
Yeah, that's even.
Well,
worse.
no, wait, she was 20.
Well, it's
yeah,
all bad regardless. It's all bad regardless.
It's all bad regardless. But there's a 10-year gap, and there's and it's
Here's the thing with that, like, that's always a touchy subject for everybody to talk about, because it's weird how we put how society has made things the way they are today. And I always, like, when this subject always comes up, I always tell people to look back at their grandparents, great grandparents, where relationships between those people really started at a young age. And it's weird to think about it that way, but I always think open-minded about it, because I was like, I don't agree with it because that's how I was raised, but I also always thought about, like, how it was in the past and how did it change. But the thing is, the thing about the women, that happens a lot, especially in the Black community.
Yeah,
that happens a whole lot, and half of the thing about it, which some people don't like to hear, the men in those situations, when it comes to those older women, they be seeking that. But then you come into the situation where it's like a minor does not give consent. Mm-hmm. But I know when I was 15 what was in my head, and I know what everybody else is 15.
I know which high school teacher I had a crush on. That's for sure.
It's like it's a very touchy subject, and that's why I don't ever comment on it. But one thing Abaddon said that I think people do need to take into consideration. The reason I bring up the past is that I think instead of just throwing people away, rehabilitation is key. You know what I mean? So this stuff happens a lot. So it's obviously something, I don't know what it is, but it's obviously something on the human side of people that makes them do things like this. Mm-hmm. And it might be mental, I don't know. But the thing
is, you think just a human instinct kind of thing, like internally, subconsciously instinctual human interactivity, like that's just.
I think it's somewhere in that realm, because we have so many people that do this. You guys got to think about that. You know what I mean?
It's pretty sick how many.
Yeah, it's how many people actually do this, and then I start, I think outside the box sometimes. I'm like, why do so many people do this? You know what I mean? Like I was raised a certain way. I wouldn't want to do anything like that. I wouldn't want to mess with.
I was taught to keep my hands to myself.
Yeah. So, but I also thought about, I was like, man, why did this? I always ask questions like, why did this stuff always happen? And I'm starting to think that people need to start researching this stuff and not making it okay and not legalizing or nothing, but start researching this stuff. But why this happens so much? Right. You know what I mean? And I think the rehabilitation part is key. Yeah. Instead of just locking people up and throwing them away, it's like it just makes sense.
To go on your point, to kind of get back to a deeper, because like the age of consent in other parts of the world is lower.
It's just
than it is here. In Europe, I was looking at a chart. Many places it's 15, 14, 15, 14, 15, 16, 14, 15. You know what I'm saying? So in many other places it's much lower, but we're not in those other places. So I think there definitely needs to be research put into why this is happening and to get people help, so we can stop it,
What I will say to that point, and just we do more research across the board in other parts of the world, and this is not coming at our own country, but there are more people who are more advanced at younger ages across the world. That is something to also consider as well.
And that's a thing. I think because when you look around the world, everybody's age of consent is drastically different.
Mm-hmm. Like same goes for drinking too.
Yeah, and drinking. I think I think it's Ireland or Greenland. They can drink real early, like 16 or something like that.
Yeah, I thought it used to be 14 at one point too.
Yeah, it was really low, and then you see like the age of consent in UK is like 15 and 16. So it's like you have some states here in America that the consent age is 15. So it's
15,
it's not a lot of them,
15, but I know 16 like in Louisiana. 16.
16. There's some 15 to 16. I don't know which ones. It's not many, but
yeah, it's not many for 15.
You just gotta look at that and when are we? Because some other places, like you said, some other places at that age they way more advanced than what a 15-year-old would be here in America. So you know what I mean? They're way more mature, and they way in society sees them more of as an adult than a teenager in certain other places in the world.
Even some of the ages they start, college over there, it's like it's very normal to see people start college there at younger ages. So it's like we really have to really analyze. We need to analyze a few things. We need to analyze maturity levels, and also we need to also analyze I'll even use what happened to Pape for an example and everything. It's like at the time, he's a 14-year-old kid. He didn't look 14, but his body hormones reacted to the point where if a woman is kissing him, he's not going to go ahead and be repulsed by it. It's like human biology took over at that point. But at the same time, another part of human biology that was taken over was his actual emotions for that person to understand, wow, this could actually be something. Does she actually like me? Does she actually think, more of me? And because of the manipulation, of the emotional manipulation that was being done on top of that, that is where I would say it goes deeper beyond, because at that point it was beyond just a physical connection. If you read to the places where she was gaslighting situations, telling him to delete DMs and things of that nature, so it was carefully plotted. It's almost like she knew she was wrong the whole time, but she was slowly covering her tracks. And this is where when you look at that and see how premeditated that is, and then how you see how you don't even get a response, but she even leaves Twitter, then you have to consider what is really going through their mind and why. Like, we see the final product of her being a predator, but what led up to that? People don't become that overnight. And that's where Brandon was highlighting also, rehabilitation is needed, because that stuff, whether we could sit here and blame the media that's out there. We could point fingers at so many different places, but in many different cases, there's a weaker link. And I would say we could have a rehabilitation, with the justice system, but I would even push the notion there may be some type of rehabilitation even in the end on the media, because we've always heard, I know OJ, I know Baron, possibly you two, VC, and Zojin as well. We live in an overly sexualized, society where it's, sex sells. And that's what's going to go ahead and push the notion for a lot of people to want to, the best way I could put it is be sold into what they want. It's like it's almost for a guy, which VC was highlighting earlier, and Zildjian as well. You can almost just say, all right, he's a guy, he should like sex, that's it. And it just shuts off anything else about the guy. And that narrative needs to change.
Agreed.
Also, one thing I want people to think about, because I think it's kind of crazy, how old Elvis' wife was when he married her.
Really young, isn't it?
Yeah, she was like 14 or something like that. So it's stuff like that go, and you know what I mean? And it's like, we don't look at him weird, do we? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that was.
I do now.
I mean,
I've always didn't know that.
Look
It was
at
a
the
different time
period.
It was.
I
It
never
was
really
You know what I'm
listened to
saying?
music
See how
out
the time
anyway.
period
So.
is different.
Different
and
time period.
It wasn't really frowned upon, and that's the stuff I'm trying to like bring people to light. It's like, when did it become okay, and when did it not become okay?
Laws, right? I would guess.
And when did we? You know what I mean? Because I'm like that's pretty young to be getting married, and you a pop star. Like you could have anyone.
But then also, but you know what though? But also, look at the time period as well. It's like when Elvis got married and everything into a 14-year-old at that, it's look at the time period. At that time period, it's like women, they weren't really looked at as many equals in society, which wasn't right. They were still fighting for their rights. So, a woman back then, they weren't as prominent and as strong. Not saying as strong as the movement weren't strong. What I'm saying is in terms of actual political power at that time. Back then, it was a huge patriotic society where men moved things and did things as they please, and there were a lot of injustices because if we're going around Elvis and everything, there was still, there was just still unfair laws. We're not going to even get too deep into that, but there were still unfair laws, period, across the country. OJ, out of respect for your podcast, I'm not going that all the way in that direction, but you guys get where I'm going at, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I see what you guys are saying. I think really what it comes down to at the end of the day in terms of right now what we need to do. I mean, we could talk all day about what was acceptable before,
keep
what
your hands to yourself.
Well, no,
please learn this.
No, it's not even just about
the best thing to do.
It goes beyond that though, because
of course it goes beyond. But
we're humans, so humans are naturally going to have. You're going to get to know people more, and there have been relationships that are formed at tournaments, and like you're never going to stop people from having relationships and being together. That's just human nature. You know what I'm saying? So I think the biggest thing is not necessarily just to say everybody just don't ever have, but like I think what the biggest thing is that making sure that you understand and you are completely cognizant of what is right and what is wrong.
And what about the 13-year-olds and the 12-year-olds that go play Smash?
Yeah, the 13 and 12-year-olds, yes, you leave them alone. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you're
that's the issue that we have here.
Yeah,
that's what.
I understand, but like, I think at the end of the day, like, people are still gonna have their relationships. People are still, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to sit there and say, okay, well, if you go to a tournament, you know what I'm saying? Don't ever try to form a relationship, or you can't ever attempt to. Just do. You know what's the thing about it is that these people that are doing these things wrong know what's right and wrong.
But I don't think so.
No, they do.
I don't think they know.
Centipede knows that she knew what she was doing was wrong. Nairo knew what he was doing. That Nairo paid Zach $2,000.
Yeah, that's after he found out he did something wrong.
No, he already knew
before that. But yeah, I think
Nairo knew what he was doing was wrong.
I know what VC's trying to say.
What is he trying to say?
VC is trying to say it's almost like, okay, VC, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's almost like you're both right. You're right, he knows he is, but what VC's coming at, it's almost like, so you got to treat someone who has like a drug addiction problem. Like, yes, they know they got a problem, but it's almost like when they do certain things, they got to stop. And when you're found out, you do whatever you can to hide the fact that you got a problem. So that's the direction VC is coming from, and I can see where VC is coming from with that.
So you're saying that Nairo knows that he knew that he had an issue with children or with kids?
I will go with that. I'm not afraid to go with that notion.
I mean,
he probably does.
And then it goes for everyone else too. They've all had some sort of scenario, like Abaddon even mentioned before, with someone like that. They go to rehabilitation with their psychology. It's what they've experienced sometimes too.
Here's the reason why I'm not going to go that far. Here's the reason why I'm not going to go that far with Nairo. I'm not going to go that far with Nairo because I don't know if you guys. First of all, it seems like he was in the closet. It seems like he was, because I don't think there was anything that he put out there. So people that are already like that are already very shy at doing certain things. Now, he's been on the stage, in the big stage, for a very long time. I don't know if you guys seen his high school pictures, but the man looked very, very nerdy and awkward. I don't think he was doing stuff like that with minors when he was a minor. Because you have to think about it.
Well, it doesn't mean you're doing it, but thinking about it. Like, it's all of that.
But he was a minor too, though. He was a minor as well. Because, like, remember,
you could imagine if he was a minor at 15 and he was looking at 5-year-olds.
But now we're getting into that's a whole different thing.
I know we're diving in a rabbit hole, but that's
too much.
But
I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, we don't have to, but I see where VC's coming from though, because it's almost like
we gotta go off of what we know. Here's what we know. We gotta know. We can't put extra stuff on top of him.
It's not.
No. We're not putting extra stuff. Okay, let's make it clear. It's only a speculation saying what could be or what could. Because right now it's no different than us discussing and going deeper with other things. It's perhaps this is why that happened. We're not saying this is the case. If anyone's watching, no, we are not saying he existed, he has a problem, but that being a possibility, acknowledging something could be a possibility because it happened.
Okay.
Yes, that's what it is.
I feel that there is. If this was a situation where it was, and maybe anybody other than Captain Zach, I might agree with that. But based off of Captain Zach, and I'm not victim blaming, but he had the issue with Ally as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was that came up. So I don't want to put, like I said, it's still Nairo's fault. It's still Ally's fault because those are the adults in those situations. You know what I'm saying? But it almost seems as if, it almost seems as if Captain Zach was the, like, remember what Baron said about, oh yeah, you're 15, you're looking for it, you know? You know what I'm saying? It almost seems like he was like that advanced guy trying to look for stuff here and there and thinking like, hey, I can do this or whatever. It almost seems that way. You know what I'm saying? With because now that's 2 in 3 years' time. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it doesn't matter because kids can't give consent. So it doesn't matter whether he was looking for it or not. Nairo and Ally are still wrong. You know what I'm saying? They're still wrong. But I just don't think that Nairo would be, I personally don't feel that Nairo would be involved with anybody else outside of somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that was like kind of looking for certain. I just don't. But you know what? I do know Nairo a bit. I interviewed him. I've hung out with him before, E3s, blah, blah, blah. So I do know him, but it just seems like, but I guess I don't know. Obviously I don't know him like personally like that, but it seems to me like out of everybody, it's like, okay, Zach, you know what I'm saying? So, but he's the one at fault here. No, regardless, even if Zach is looking for it or whatever the case is, because it seems like he was, which I think Zach even said that he initiated it. He's the one who started and everything like that. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Nairo's the adult. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't change the fact that the person agreed. Like, anyone could advance upon any one of us. But if we choose to say yes, that's our responsibility.
Of course.
Yeah.
So what did he do now? What did Nairo do?
Yeah, I missed the Nairo story, so yeah.
I mentioned it. He mentioned it.
He mentioned it. Oh, he mentioned it.
Nairo went all the way with Zach. Okay.
With who?
Yeah.
With another Smash Brothers player at the time. Nairo was 20. Zach, no, he was 20.
I thought it was 21.
No,
20.
He was 20.
Okay.
Nairo was 20.
Still.
Yeah, it's still bad. Regardless, it doesn't matter. He's over 18.
Exactly.
So Nairo was 20. Zach is 15 at the time.
Oh.
And he went all the way. We're not talking just. We're talking
like Derek Jeter home run like.
So they done brought
Yankees
him out
won.
the closet, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, he basically got brought out the closet in addition to being canceled. But the thing about it, what's cool about 2020 is that doesn't even matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, that's nobody even. It's like, oh, Nairo's gay. Who cares if Nairo's gay? You know what I'm saying? That's not the point. You know. But that's true.
What's funny is I made a video on cancel culture recently, and it's like this entire week people have been getting canceled left and right.
Yeah.
Which is
like
funny.
You said, Abaddon, like the rehabilitation thing. I mentioned something along those lines in that video. Like, if it's someone who didn't do something really, really, really bad, then like, yes, they deserve to be able to rehabilitate. But if it's someone who did something against someone in a sexual manner without consent, or if something is against someone, like racial profiling, anything like that, they should be punished to the farthest extent.
So it's almost
so like Omni said, Inferno Omni, for those who know him, I know him, he's pretty cool. Basically, he said they should go through punishment. They should be punished, like Nairo and stuff.
Nairo's 20.
I'll just say,
Nairo's 23. No, let's just talk about this. So Nairo's 23. So should he be punished for the rest of his life? He should be just put on.
Not the rest of his life.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't believe the rest of his life. I feel like he should get. He should get proper help.
Some years,
he should get, like, you know. Well, then again, this goes into law reform, as I mentioned earlier. But he should get, you know, punishment like in time away. But at the same time, that time isn't just labor work. That time is actual rehabilitation. So when, you know, he does serve his time, he comes out as a better citizen.
But there's no time that he's serving, though, because there's going to be no charges pressed here.
And that's the thing, that, and if there's no charges pressed, then I feel as though personally it all depends. If there's no charges pressed here,
there's no charges pressed.
It's like shooting darts at popped air balloons. You're wasting your time.
Then I'll say this. I personally feel he should take it on his own prerogative and his own initiative to get proper help.
He did say he made a post about that 4 hours ago, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
Correct.
Go ahead.
So Zach initiated this?
Yes.
And everybody's destroying Naira.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing. Zach was 15.
Zach was 15.
15 at the time, and Naira was 20. So it's almost. So if you put that in a different, okay, we're gonna put this in a different scenario. So it's like we're not victim blaming Zach right here. Imagine if that would, instead of a 15-year-old boy, that was a 15-year-old girl. Now the narrative.
Has he said anything?
Zach, yeah, he's the one Zach is the one who put out the
twit longer.
The twit longer and kept receipts of all of this, which is another interesting, thing.
So what did he say? Is it something he wished he didn't do, or what was
He just basically said that it was eating up at him on the inside, and he felt that he needed to bring it out because other people were saying things, which
but he's canceled now though.
Who, Zach?
Not Zach. Naira.
Oh, Naira's canceled for a minimum of a while. I think that there is
very long time,
possibility,
at least 5 years.
I think there's no way that at least 5 years. I don't think anybody's gonna, or at least I would say a couple years, until he needs to show that he has actually gotten this help that he said that he's gonna get. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
He needs to show. If he shows that, if he does the necessary things, then maybe some people will never let him back in. But I think that, for his sake, he definitely just needs to go and get that done. But I personally don't want Nairo to be canceled forever for the rest of his life and never be able to do anything. I don't want that.
That I agree with you. That shouldn't, for a mistake.
Yeah, no one should be canceled for life.
Because think of it this way. Okay. OJ and I, we could talk. We could say this even even I'm bearing a VC to an extent and everything. Zildjian, I'm not sure how you're, so I'm not going to disrespect. I'm not including. I don't know how old you are and everything. I want you don't have to say your age and everything. But
I'm 21.
You're 21. Okay, so just for the sake of it, I'm just gonna say, VC, you're 26, right?
About to be, yeah. Later. So.
Okay, so how many people? I'm just saying this. It's like, how many of us would want us to, for the rest of our lives, if we did something rather really stupid or unguided or really messed up in our early 20s, and that ruins your life entirely? No one would want that.
Of course.
Especially,
it depends on what it was.
Especially,
regardless of what it was, no one would want to deal with it. OJ even mentioned it earlier. The last thing you want to be in is court. Like, you don't want to keep your hands to yourself. Be a good person. Don't be an ass. Just be nice.
Let me say this.
Be genuine. Don't be thinking creepy thoughts. Be sane.
I'm only speaking on the lines of, I'm being consistent here. I'm speaking on the lines of proper rehabilitation. Yeah. So I'm not saying along the lines with our current American system. We go by our current American system. I'm sorry that you gotta get, depending on case by case, you gotta get, what's served to you at that point, unfortunately. Yeah. But what I will say is, I personally don't believe he should have his entire life canceled, whereas he can never do professional gaming ever again for the rest of his life. I feel like there should be, a penalty period where he cannot do anything, which is like, eternally in due process. But I feel that it should be a temporary period for him to get the proper help.
But when he comes back, would he then be allowed to go to these tournaments and civilized?
He would have to
what
be,
if they don't change the age thing and they keep it the way it is?
Listen, treat it how they do certain criminals who are on probation. He's under probation, meaning he needs to be.
Hold up, wait a damn minute.
All right, here we go.
Wait a minute, I'm reading this right now.
Yeah.
What the heck? How does this man keep every message they ever had?
Yeah, that's what OJ was trying to get.
That's what I was saying. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying about. That's why I don't. It's with Zach. You know what I'm saying? This guy Zach is thinking kind of
2 years ahead before anyone else.
Advanced, exactly, more advanced than people his age would think, trying to be with somebody older, pursuing older people. It'd be like I said, like Baron, like you said, dude, like when we were 15, 16, that would have been, there would be, we'd be out there. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when I was 15, when I was 14, I kissed girls that were much older, that were way past.
I definitely was,
and I feel that Zach is in that same mindset as
Wait a minute,
we
this
were.
Man got paid too.
He got paid
to be quiet.
He got paid to be quiet.
Bribed is the best way to
bribed. He got bribed, which he was quiet for 3 years. But now that everybody's coming out and saying things, which again, he's still, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because law is law. But also, once again, like I think everybody here has stated that Zach is thinking more advanced at that age than most people are thinking, and that he's not 100% clean. But at the same time, it doesn't matter. Nairo's still the adult, and he needs to refuse.
Yeah, because he should know better. As an adult, you should know better. Because he should know better.
Because I went to tournaments too, and I had girls approach me that clearly didn't look, that said that, oh, I'm 18. No, you're not 18. You're wearing a high school t-shirt. No, you're not 18 years old. And don't talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Or stay away from me. And that's why one of the many reasons why I stopped going to locals, because I was stopped like talking to weird people, just plain and simple. So I think that with this situation, it's still the adult's fault, but I think we can all look here and say like, yo, I think Zach also needs to get a little bit of help too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, definitely,
of course,
definitely, because that again, that goes what I said earlier. What we have seen between both of them, a lot of stuff has been going on between them individually behind the scenes. That's the point that I'm trying to make. There's a lot that's been going on between both of them behind the scenes that has happened to them, unfortunately. Because stuff, whoa, okay.
Yo, Ace. Okay. With the hundo. Goodness gracious. Yo, thank you so much, Ace.
Whoa.
He says
okay.
He says much respect to everyone on the stream. This is a tough subject to speak about. Yeah, it is a very tough subject to speak about. I'll also get the rest of the donations too once we move to the next topic. I will get off K19, my boy. K19, by the way, man, I just want to say real quick, K19, hey, man, I'm proud of you. And, hey, keep on being you, man. Seriously, but I'm proud of you, man. Seriously, honestly, for everything that you're speaking up on about and everything that you've been going through. Thank you so much for your support, man. And I'm proud of you, man, honestly. But yeah, I could go ahead, Abaddon. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, you're good. That you handle that. This is you show love to your supporters, man. So seriously, like that's the only thing that I want to say. It's like I feel as though we're seeing just the effect of something that's been an ongoing cause between both of them, because it's like, like I said, not like what. Again, kind of like with Cinepi, for Nairo to, pay off and everything, it's wanting to hide everything. And I'm like I said, I'm just curious. I'm just curious to know more. Because that happened 3 years ago. Yeah. And if we even go in a climate of 3 years ago, there was even still more acceptance of, if he was gay or not, that it was still more accepted in 2017 versus the Cinepi thing was 5 years ago, right? Or 4 years ago?
4 years ago. But
4 years ago, even 4 or 5 years ago, 3 years ago, it was still a climate change with that. So my thing to what I would say towards Nairo, I don't even think it was the fact he was trying to hide the fact, that he was in the closet and he found men attractive. I think there was something bigger there, because sometimes, and the only reason why I said earlier about what I said, because sometimes you may not just get caught in certain things, and you may have kept something hidden for years. So that's the only thing that I said. But at the same time, out of respect, I'm not saying that is his identity. I'm not saying that is who he is for everyone in the chat. I was just saying, I'm just acknowledging that. Yeah.
I just feel that I feel that this wouldn't. Yeah. It could have happened, but I just feel like this. There would be no way that it's only Zach. That'd be the only person that I think in that community, based off of what I've seen. You know what I'm saying? That could even happen with Nairo. I mean, Nairo is such a if you meet, he's such a calculated type of person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you guys have seen Nairo, right? I don't know if you watch his streams, if you see his business. You know what I'm saying? Like what he's built.
So how old is he now?
He's 23.
How old is Zach?
Zach is 18
now.
Nah. So that's how old.
They're 5 years apart.
I'm gonna be quiet. What's the next topic?
I think we need to move on to the next topic. I think
Barrett, I feel you.
Yeah, I feel you.
I just read his whole longer post, and I'm like,
Yeah, no, because I see what you're saying. Because his mindset is the mindset of that we had when we were as a boy seeking a girl, right? When I was 15, bruh.
Yeah.
I'm not 21. Cool. 22. I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just as long as it was
same thing with me.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the mindset Zach. I think that's the mindset Zach had. However, it doesn't matter. It still lies upon the adult. You know what I'm saying? But for me back then, I don't want none of the girls that I kissed or did anything with at those ages to get prosecuted or anything. I have no problem whatsoever. But that mentality is dead. You know what I'm saying? Like that mentality, 2020, that mentality. Is dead.
I got you, but man, reading this, man.
Yeah, no, dude, I know. Reading it, that's why I said.
And that's just one tweet longer out of the dozens that have come out.
Just reading the line. I don't want to cancel Nairo, nor do I wish him ill in the slightest.
Yeah, he did say that, but we all know that. He was going to get canceled.
Why did you type that? Because you know that's not going to be the truth.
Yeah,
you know it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and we all know he would be canceled anyway.
Like, why did you? Okay.
Yeah, we all know that Nairo would get canceled if you put this out there. You know good and well he's gonna get canceled. You know what I'm saying?
And that's that's how we know his mental state is still younger than an adult's mental state. Even at 18, it seems like, because like people say, your brain isn't fully developed till 25. That's what they say.
I don't know, Zach, and you're probably right. I've watched some of his streams. He seems very quiet.
So basically, VC, you're saying we shouldn't allow to do anything until we're 25. Then basically,
hey. I'm not saying that.
I mean, honestly,
why stop at 17, 18? You might take it to 25. That's when our brain develops.
I think people should be getting their driver's license every 5 years, personally, because there's some people on the roads like 7 years old. Different topic.
I think there should be a federal. I think there should be a federal age of consent instead of by state. I think it really should be federal. It should not be statewide.
It's never going to happen because you got too many people who feel
too many southern states, especially that are
they're never going to come to agree on
14 and 16 year old ages.
I think it should be in my opinion, it should be like 17 across the board. 17 every single state in the United States. I think 17 is age of consent. That is it. 17. Which would still make, by the way, these situations wrong. So to me, I think it's like 17. You could be potentially be in college already, or you could be at the very end of high school. So I think 17 should be
makes sense.
Should be it.
But for tournaments though, should we have it 18 and up only, or separate it where 1 week they have the adults play, then the week after it's the ones for the younger age group? Because that's what I think
you won't have. Then you won't have like the best players playing each other.
It happens. Nothing we can do about it.
And for everybody, I'm gonna say OJ exposed 17. Nah, dude, there are states that it's 16 and that it's 15. So it would have to be a bartering thing, okay? There are states that it's under 17. So y'all can shut the hell up in the chat, please, okay? There's no exposed here trying to sit there and say that about me. Because there's states that it's freaking 16. So I don't want to hear that crap, all right? Some of y'all live in these states that it's 16. Don't sit there and tell me, oh, no, 17 what? No, stop.
Let me tell something in the chat, man.
Hold on.
Most people are done with high school at 17.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what are y'all talking about?
I don't know.
Some people are just crazy in the chat. They're just trying to
OJ had this conversation yesterday.
If the ages and if you're talking about in other countries, it's ridiculously lower than that. So I think if you're 17 years old, you should be able to, if you want to graduate high school, to marry somebody or be with who you want to be with after high school. That should be your. That's that.
That's your right.
That's your right.
But I will say this though. To be fair and everything.
2020. Somebody's 22.
I'm glad that
age of consent 22. Who said that? You gotta be kidding me! Get the hell out of here! 21?
At this point, I might as well have
That's
age
ridiculous.
46.
You guys crazy? You can buy a freaking gun at 18, but you can't. You can't have consent. Stop.
You can own a gun at 12.
Like, what?
Well, I don't know where that's at, but
That
definitely
man-
want to go there.
Now, I will say this: reading the twit longer because it's my first time actually going through it and actually reading through.
I had to go through it, and I'm like,
Read it through the post. I see what you're saying, Baron, and everything. If this was brought up to law, someone could counter sue and say defamation of character easily, like easily.
Well, that's what Anti may do in his situation.
And I'm looking at this as, you know, I almost went into the law direction while I was going to school. And one of the things, the reason why it could be seen as defamation of character, you can't say in your twit longer feeling like you was manipulated at the same time, in that same time period, you're bragging about it to a friend. You can't do that. You can't.
With the whole situation with Anti, I think it's something that's something that he needs to. There's a lot of legal stuff, and he deleted his twit longer. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of stuff with that, which it might get more serious. So we need to wait for more information. We're just clearly talking about the people who have admitted to this. You know.
Yeah.
So
it's just the fact that this even is a problem in the first place is just a disappointment. And like many people were saying earlier, they're going to stop playing Super Smash Bros. Even in general because of this, and even in the community too.
What does Nintendo have to do with this?
No one said
Nintendo has profiled and featured, and they've sponsored tournaments. They've profiled and featured some of the players that are being brought up
some
here.
Of them for commentating too.
You know, commentating.
Yeah, but Nintendo didn't know.
No, Nintendo didn't know. We're not saying that Nintendo's in trouble or they're the ones who are gonna. But basically, why they're being brought up is because the thing about it is like people have said, okay, well, this is why Nintendo hasn't went in on Smash Brothers. You know, and imagine if they went in and started paying these kids. Imagine how much worse this could be when you put big money into it. So I think Nintendo maybe had the foresight, the future sight to see, like, when you start doing these type of things and start giving kids this type of money for playing a video game and all that, like, things can get pretty bad. But I think this is why Nintendo's always stayed like arm distance away, because you can't police everyone. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't.
Nintendo things they like to pay for trips, right?
What?
Isn't Nintendo saying they like to pay for like trips, like the trip to there?
I think there's been times where Nintendo might fly somebody out for certain things, yeah. But
okay.
I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, there have been times where they put together like an event and like they will fly people out. You know, they will pay for that, but they won't give them, hey, I'm going to give you $100,000 for this prize event. You know, they don't put money into the community, and that was a big thing. Many people called Nintendo out. That was a thing. And if you didn't, you're a fanboy, you're damage controlling, this and that. And then now you look at something like this that happens, Nintendo would
people
absolutely...
People are calling Nintendo out for that, like, the past few weeks, too.
Yeah,
like,
it hasn't
in general, even before this even happened.
Yeah, so if Nintendo actually put money in these kids' pockets and did more sponsorships, they would be... Some people would tie it back to them, and they'd might be liable for filtering a community that puts kids with adults and has multiple day events to where you need hotels and to where a lot of this stuff happens. You know what I'm saying? So they might be liable for this. So I think that's why Nintendo's always stayed arm distance away. So they're not liable because they didn't put out a statement today. They didn't do any. It's, you know why? Because they never paid anybody anything. You know what I'm saying? They never paid anybody anything. They just were like a sponsor. They'd pay for some setups, or they would pay for drinks for people, or they always do something on the side. Like they would never, like Capcom would give certain people $250,000 if you win the Capcom Cup. You know what I'm saying? Like Nintendo's not going to do that crap. But then look at what Capcom's doing. They're banning people. Oh, this person says this
outright.
Oh, we're going to ban you because they feel liable for certain things that would happen. What that didn't even occur on their property or in the tournament venue. They're banning people for stuff that they said in streams, you know, or on Twitter, because they feel liable because they're pumping money into this thing. So now they're like, oh, we have a code of conduct. You said watermelon lives matter, banned. You know what I'm saying? Like it's and that's the thing. So I think that's why, and I think this proves it. Now I don't think there's going to be any more videos about why, you know, about that. So I guess that ends it there. Anyway, moving on. I want to give some shout outs here before we move on to the next topic. That was a heavy topic, guys, but
it was.
But we got through it. Troy Perry, thank you for the $. I'm just here so I won't get fined. That wrestling talk, and here's your $1 for your pockets. Thank you. Ace with 100. Thank you so much, Ace. I appreciate that. Thank you for the Arena Tensei, man. I appreciate you. Says much respect to everyone on the stream. This is a tough subject to speak out about. Absolutely. K19, my boy, with the 50 says much love for the crew. Thank you. Also, Brian Jedi with the $1.99 says people take longer to mature now. So he thinks that people take longer to mature now than they did back in the day. I think we were talking about like when the Elvis days or whatever. Also, shout outs to Ethan R with the $1.99. It says Pro Smash is going to be weird now. There's not going to be any Pro Smash for the significant time being until there is literally a unified board that reforms and says this is what's going to happen. I think there needs to be an age limit, and there's also an age limit. I think 17. It needs to be. You can't compete unless out of state. You can't compete if you're under 17 without a guardian. I think that needs to be the limit or the thing. So until those things are put together, there will be no competitive, like real competitive Smash tournaments. The community's crumbled. It's at its lowest point.
It's deteriorated to say the least.
It's deteriorated pretty bad. Psychopie donated $1. Says I like Big Z. Keep up the food work. I think he meant good work. Thank you for the maple syrups on Canada Day, man. And thank you for all the new subscribers. So we had a bunch of people that subscribed during the stream. Thank you guys so much. The best name out of all the subscribers is like, I see a nip slip. That's the best name so far from the subscribers. So thank you so much. But everybody else who subscribed, appreciate that. Bob Saget as well, too. So shout outs to Bob Saget. He's watching our...
Hell yeah.
I love Full House. That was great. Full House is fantastic. Captain Chast.
Well, speaking of wrestling talk, real quick, Baron, what are you going to be on Fighters Fest week 2 next week? And also, are you going to be facing Pineapple Pete? I need to find out.
Boy, will you please
stop? Are you getting tapped out like in 3 seconds in the back room? Like, what's going on? You haven't been on TV in like 4 months.
Has it been that long?
Anyway, going on to this topic about
you're too good to not be on
women.
TV.
All right, so shout out to Captain Chaz. Thank you for becoming the Joan in tier. Appreciate that.
You need to be patient, sir. Okay.
It's wrestling's all about the wrestling game's all about patience. Next up, we're gonna discuss July Nintendo Direct rumor. So there was a rumor put out by there's a rumor put out by a guy who correctly predicted the March Nintendo Direct. He is saying July is the month that Nintendo is going to do something here. So, just for the sake of conversation, what do you guys think Nintendo could have at this July Direct? If they're hypothetically speaking, if this is correct, what do you think?
It's going to be a mini if it exists. If it exists, it's a mini. Okay. I'm just going to say that now.
I'll tell you right now.
It's not a full one.
It's it's happening. They got to give you the release schedule for the rest of the games.
It's called Twitter.
So
yeah, pretty much. The Paper Mario thing skyrocketed on just Twitter alone.
I think it'll happen around the release of Paper Mario, because there's no release date for anything.
So the 16th.
So somewhere 17th. Around there.
17th is Paper Mario. So you're thinking it's going to happen around that time. Maybe it happens a little bit before. Maybe it happens a little bit after.
Yeah. Maybe. So we'll finally see Bayonetta 3. We'll see. Since No More Heroes got a gameplay teaser the other day, I'm pretty sure we're going to get real gameplay this time out of No More Heroes 3. Yeah, because Suda's just a troll, man.
Yeah, he trolled us.
But it looks like the game is coming along well, so that will be coming out, I'm pretty sure.
Hopefully.
Maybe we'll get an update on Breath of the Wild 2. See what this Mario Kart 9.
I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening at all either.
Why wouldn't we get an update on Breath of the Wild 2? Why wouldn't they
get an
new trailer?
I don't see it happening. I just don't.
Do you see anything happening? So then what are they going to have at NBC? Will anything happen at this point?
They're going to have Bravely Default 2.
Okay.
Yeah. They should have
which they already had,
like you mentioned, Barry.
They already had Bravely Default 2 at their last direct.
And they're going to show it more. Want to know why? Because like I mentioned, it's going to be a direct mini. They're going to talk about some more stuff that they've already mentioned in the press mini direct, and then add a few things sprinkled in, like a little more Paper Mario the few days before it releases, a little bit of Bravely Default. A mention of Deadly Premonition 2 just came out last week. Don't forget to pick it up. Like, stuff like that. They're going to be mentioning old stuff and then a few new things here and there. There will be some third-party stuff as well, of course, but it depends how much will be there, to be honest. They may show Crisis there. That's probably what they're going to do. And then they're going to show...
Crisis!
Because that was supposed to release in July, and now it's not on the Switch. So that's what I think I will see there as well. Overall, though, I hope we see the Mario remasters, because that's the thing. I feel like that would be the last thing they would show in that, but that would be the big highlight. There's nothing else out there. And they're not going to show Bayonetta 3. I wish they would, but they're not.
You were really into now.
No Bayonetta 3.
So you really believe they're going
Wild
into
2.
the second half of the year with nothing. That's basically what you
except
say.
the Mario remaster. Yep.
That's not true.
It's going to be a direct mini.
I can tell you factually that's not true. Nintendo's not only going to have Mario remasters for the second half. That's just not true.
We're going to have way more than that.
My main thing I'm saying is a July mini. It's not going to be a main direct. So make sure everyone gets that in their mind.
It doesn't have to be a main direct for them to just tell you
what
does
have to be a main direct for big stuff. Yes.
They just got to tell you what's coming out. That's all.
Listen. All I want to see is what's going to be like coming out for the rest of the year. What I want to see from this, if we don't get it, it's cool. But if I had one wish, I want to see Chrono Trigger remake. That's it.
Yes.
That's
it. Oh, I don't think there's a Chrono Trigger remake.
That's it. Listen,
I think that there isn't. But I don't know if it'll be at this show. Or I think they might just announce like we have a Chrono project in development.
Yeah. And they showed in the Octopath art
so you know what? Okay.
No, there's not going to be Octopath art style. No.
If they did it like how they did Trials of Mana, where they said we got a Chrono project on the way, and they released Chrono Trigger, the Super NES version, on the eShop that same day, I'm down with it.
Instant.
No. Trials of Mana, they said, no, we have a game. It is a remake of... It wasn't a project. That's what I mean. It was a game.
That's what I mean. That's what listen. Do something like that with Chrono Trigger, man. I'm good. What is this stupid fly?
That's what I was going to say. What's up with Chrono
Trigger? So, but yeah, like that's literally.
He heard Chrono Trigger. He was like, "What? Y'all trying to play some Chrono Trigger?"
Let me get him play.
Yo, but nah, seriously though, like yeah, clip that. If y'all watch this on Twitch, clip that, please.
Clip the fly trying to get in on Chrono Trigger.
But nah, seriously though, I want to, like I said, I feel like it's long overdue. I feel like, Square said they want to remake some of their classics. Why not start with one of the best RPGs of all time?
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Like, why not?
I made a video talking about it. So
I'm still trying to figure out how VC believes that No More Heroes 3 and Bayonetta 3 are not releasing this year. Even though you just seen
they will show No More Heroes 3, but I never said they would release this year. Never said that.
Oh my god!
They will show gameplay.
No More Heroes 3
July direct. I would see that more than Bayonetta or Breath of the Wild 2.
No More Heroes is set for 2020, so they did say that it is set.
A lot of things were set for 2020.
Yeah, that's true, but I'm just saying, like, they did say that it's set for 20. Now, could there be a delay? Sure, absolutely, it could be a delay. But they did say that it's set for 2020, and the gameplay that they showed, his head was just in the way, but everything looked smooth. It looked 60. It could
have been one level halfway through the game for all we know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where that was in the game. I mean, it looked like he was fighting some pretty...
We really don't know.
No, but like if you have your engine up and going...
I'm very hesitant with my predictions when it comes to that.
But he said 2020, and they showed off a game that looks smooth and runs good. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it looks like it's going to be 2020. Based off of that gameplay, his head was just in the way, but it looks good.
I'm ready. It
looks good. Seems like it's...
You sound like SpongeBob from Rehydrated. I'm ready.
It looks
you sound like you said SpongeBob. I thought of that old Cameron song.
Oh, that too. Of course. You can't forget that song.
Yeah.
So what you gonna do when Bayonetta and No More Heroes come out?
I thought you were gonna do a Hulk Hogan reference when you said it that way, man.
What you gonna do?
You
gonna admit you're wrong, VC?
No.
You're not gonna admit you're wrong if they both come out this year? Why not?
Because it's just a personal perspective of opinion and prediction. That's all it is.
Garbage for 6 months. It's like at some point you gotta.
I ain't someone who's a hypocrite and says Animal Crossing is a horrible game with no sales, and then uses it as ammo on Sony.
You know what?
Get out of here and get pinned in the back of the AEW line.
Hey, he got you. He kind of got you there.
Put him in the chat.
He didn't get me. You could go on Twitter and see a tweet when I was talking about Animal Crossing last year.
That's true.
Yeah.
He was. But the way that you did it was sleazy, though, Barry.
Podcast live stream.
Yeah, the way that you did it was sleazy because
I'll be right back.
It's all good, Abaddon, because you were when it comes to against Sony people, you'll sit there and use Animal Crossing, like you'll use it as your shield.
As your
you know what I'm saying?
Like,
but then your real intentions, when it's just Nintendo talk, it's screw this game. But then when you need your shield against these people, you bring out the shield to hit them with it. You know what I'm saying?
Who says
Captain America's shield and everything?
Who says I have to like the facts to use them?
No, I'm just saying you be throwing that Captain America shield when you feel like throwing it. You know what I'm saying? You're not vigilant all the time.
Back at you, you're not ready to catch it.
You'll use it accordingly to how you see fit. You know what I'm saying? Because when we were talking about it, you're like, oh, the sales are not going to be that big. No, I don't really see it. But when it embodies The Last of Us, you're like, oh, look at these sales.
And then when we mentioned it to you how good the sales were, you're like, oh, the sales weren't good.
Yeah,
1 week later, you're using it as
exactly.
Hold up, man. First of all, before you start. This sales debate about Last of Us came from last year, so this was already happening before the game came out.
Okay, great. We're talking about Animal Crossing.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Animal Crossing.
Yeah, but excluding that, talk about Animal Crossing.
That debate I had with those Sony ponies from last year. So of course I'm going to take my ring, take my medal when it happens. I'm definitely going to do that. I don't mean I know,
but man, you can't be on such opposite side. You can't be sitting here and arguing that the sales aren't going to be that big of a deal.
Your L emoji
and then when you need it, oh snap! Looks like the sales are a big deal. Y'all got body. Like it just seems kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't seem right.
Flippy floppy.
Right. How it don't seem right?
Because you're arguing one thing against the sales of the game. You're downplaying the sales of the game.
There's no difference.
You downplay.
It's like saying one thing to us, and then you go on Twitter and say one thing to Sony ponies.
You downplayed the sales to us. You downplayed it. You miscalculated big time. You didn't listen to us. You downplayed the sales. When I tried to tell you about the digital sales, you did not care.
Because I don't care about the game. I don't care about the game.
I know, but you were trying to say that it wasn't going to sell as much as it was going to sell, though. You were trying to say that it wasn't
y'all was trying to compare it to the other games that almost sold 20 million already. That's what I was arguing.
Because it's pretty much at 20 million.
No. And it did it in such a quick time, and you didn't believe in it. And you're like,
it ain't happening.
5 million.
Bro, the game will be at 20 million by this year.
It's not going to outsell those other games we argued about.
That's
what we was arguing about.
It is. That's the problem. Give him the preemptive L, please.
Thank you for giving him the thick
you don't understand the sale. You still see that's what we're talking about. You still don't understand the magnitude of sales of Animal Crossing. The game sold 5 million physical copies in Japan without digital by itself. 5 million
without physical.
Watch out now.
5 million, Baron.
Let's all just stop time because they sold 5 million in Japan.
You're not
but see, and then after this, you're gonna talk to someone and be like, "Oh, look at this."
Hey, look! When watch this, guys. When it passes 20 million in sales, he's gonna bring up something about how it bodied The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2 in sales.
And goes to Tsushima. Don't forget Ghost of Tsushima. That's coming.
Yeah, he's gonna bring up to these Sony dudes because it's gonna be a big thing, right? I even gave you some ammo that you could work with, Baron. I made a video having a little bit of fun, talking about The Last of Us.
Dang.
And I don't know if you saw that video.
Get your chips
Yo, Baron, I wouldn't take this if I was you, man. I wouldn't take this.
Look, I don't look. See, the thing is, they're trying to come at me for something I've already been talking about over a year and a half. So they can't.
You're not talking about Animal Crossing New Horizons sales.
I was already talking about. You know what I mean?
Okay, Baron. Look, we're gonna stop dogpiling. Okay, we're gonna stop dogpiling on Baron because obviously he's not gonna get it.
I'm not. You know I'm not.
I know you're not. I know you're not.
Just like me with No More Heroes and Bayonetta. Like it's the same scenario.
It's not gonna change. That boring ass game's still gonna be boring as fuck.
And No More Heroes and Bayonetta 3 are not releasing in 2020, even if they do. Just like how Animal Crossing New Horizons did well, and you're just going to
We're not talking about whether you like the game or not. That's not the point. If you
exactly.
Don't like the game,
We're
that's fine.
talking about sales.
We're talking about the sales
Big hitter. Still the biggest hitter from Nintendo this year.
It's the biggest hitter that's going to be. This game's going to probably outsell Mario Kart. It might outsell Mario Kart.
Oh, yeah.
Animal Crossing is going to be the best selling game on the Switch.
Yeah, already it's on track to be best selling on the Switch.
It's on the track because it's selling. It's selling so high the digital rate of this game is destroying the digital rates of any other Nintendo game, and the physical sales rate is still destroying the physical sales rate of any other game.
You can thank the pandemic for You know,
it doesn't matter how it got it done.
Doesn't matter.
It
Sales at the end of the day, man.
Like I said, they got a nice boost off of that pandemic.
I mean, if we go to say the pandemic, there's 75% more people watching YouTube since the pandemic. So
yeah, a lot of people got a boost on the pandemic.
Well, so I mean, if we're talking about boost on the pandemic, then Final Fantasy VII Remake did a terrible job of
I would say that too.
Physical and digital. I just want to say that.
Yeah, if that's the case,
I love that game. I love it
because I mean, and if we're talking about pandemic boosting. There's 100 million PS4s, 4 million Last of Us Part 2. That isn't that. I mean, it's impressive overall. It's impressive.
Don't add up.
If you want to talk about everything's being boosted from pandemic, okay, then why did The Last of Us sell 10 million? You know what I'm saying?
But you know what, OJ, I'm glad you said that because you know what? I've been saying for the longest time, and I'm going to keep saying that Nintendo first parties have the best attach rates. It's undeniable.
And more so, I saw something you say to David Drayden today, OJ, about how most people have an Xbox or a PlayStation and they have their 2K and GTA 5s and that's it. They have 7 copies of 2K for every year and that's it. Mm-hmm. So like that's a thing too.
I think the most crazy thing is that's the fastest selling PlayStation exclusive ever.
Yeah.
And that's like chump change to Nintendo.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's chump change. I mean, because it was 4 million
multiple times. It was
4 million in a weekend. So 3 days, 4 million. That's pretty good. That's actually
really that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. That did no. If we want to be objective, if we want to be
off by 80%, so it's like
that was just the UK, but you know
that's a big ass drop. From one week
but that's how it is for most Sony and Xbox games. Not to say all Nintendo games don't go through that, but there is some Nintendo games that do have that drop off as well. Yoshi had that drop off.
Fire Emblem had certain Nintendo franchises have that drop. Like Fire
Marvel
Emblem
Alliance 3.
You know,
Octopath even had that drop off.
Oh yeah, Octopath had a huge drop.
Ain't the main flagship franchise.
So, yeah.
You're right about that, Bear. That type of drop doesn't happen with like a Super Smash Brothers or like a Animal Crossing or like a Mario Kart or.
But at the same time though, Last of Us had a polarizing storyline, and that's the thing. It was more so. There was more so a lot of fans, upset about the storyline and how things progressed. And I feel like the drop off really came from people watching other people play it on a Let's Play and say, you know what, this game isn't for me.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have games like Breath of the Wild, it's like Breath of the Wild. The reason why Breath of the Wild is so good is because the exploration aspect supersedes the story. Whereas everyone's playthrough is going to be different from somebody else's, which makes the game an evergreen game. Last of Us is more niche and it's not an evergreen game. Sad to say, it looks like it's a great title. It's possibly
niche in what way?
Niche in terms of it's closer to being a cult classic, except for a certain audience.
It's a movie game. It's that Sony.
It's more I consider it more on the lines of a cult classic than an actual heavy hitter game.
I think the better way to describe it is like you talk about Breath of the Wild. There's more things you can do and have your own experience in that game. When it comes to The Last of Us, the only way you can have a different experience is if you experience different things in your own life yourself. I think that's
I think that gameplay wise, there's different styles of gameplay. You can go stealth.
That too, of course.
You can go guns blazing, which isn't a good idea because you'll get capped and the ammo's limited. And they do weird. I see what you guys say. They do weird things so to where they force you into a certain survival type of play. Like you'll be like playing the game and like you want to go guns blazing, cool.
And also story wise, in general, you're in a linear path too. That's more so the difference because of the gameplay aesthetic. You can have a different experience in Breath of the Wild. Everyone has a different thing. While in general, everyone's going through the same story motion. Because it's a story game, and as Bigsy said, it is a movie game, but simultaneously, gameplay-wise, it's truly not like a movie compared to the original Last of Us. There is advancements to the gameplay compared to the first one.
The thing about Sony games is or not just Sony, a lot of different games. You play them once, you're fine. So a lot of people will have their, like the friend who bought Last of Us, whatever, they'll borrow it from them.
Yep.
And then they'll play it, and then like, cool, I'll give it back to you. But you have a reason to buy Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey and Smash.
How many playthroughs you can have? So many.
I mean, I see what you guys are saying, but I think, when it comes down to it at the end of the day, you guys are right about that, and maybe that's what caused the drop, which got Sony very worried about the leaks and about everything. That's why they went all ballistic.
They were mad about reviews too.
Yeah, they were mad about reviews because they know good and well that they need to sell much more than 4 million copies.
They know good and well that they allowed that horrible scene with Abby instead of allowing 2D games that are on PlayStation 4. They're now coming to Switch now. For those who know.
Neil Druckmann.
Aaron didn't know.
It's I don't know what to call it. Not a double standard. He just called
it's definitely a double standard.
First party privilege. I mean,
it's all of that. Yes.
Yeah, because you can't do that. Most developers aren't allowed to do what they did in The Last of Us, and he's allowed to do.
Like what's wrong with a little anime too? Like, come on.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the only thing I'll say about that. To what you said, VC. It's like, I feel like a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people didn't necessarily like, that whole scene with Abby and everything. But one thing I will say is what The Last of Us did do, it definitely expanded upon what can be done in video games. And I will say, I will give it its flowers in that instance. Like, it definitely displayed more possibilities on what you can do in an adventure-like game. And in terms of a beautiful landscape, I'm promising you right now, like, future developers are using this game to take notes, just like they did Breath of the Wild 3 years ago, and they were taking notes in Breath of the Wild. They are taking notes with this game because this game had.
Are you saying
just like Ghost of Tsushima too,
graphics wise or storytelling wise?
Not just graphics and story wise, but also mechanics wise. Like, one of the things mechanics wise that I've noticed which I don't necessarily agree. Me personally, I don't like my games being too realistic, but I'm sure that a developer will take note of this, where if you was to slice somebody or with a knife or something, they are trying to make it very accurate with the blood trajectory. Like, a lot of the violence in The Last of Us 2 was very realistic onto how it would happen.
Yeah,
and how it actually
is that a
would
game
happen.
Mechanic though? That's just more like them. That's just that's like a graphical type of thing.
That's actually animations. Animations
maybe
is
more
still
so an aesthetic.
That's a complete, like, animations. I don't know if that's a game. There's no gameplay mechanic that
kind of like how Final Fantasy.
Okay, mechanic is a word. Mechanic is a word. Thank you. Mechanic is a word. Thank you for correcting me on that.
You can't target certain body parts. Well, there's games that are way more advanced gameplay mechanic wise with violence.
I meant to say I misspoke. I meant to say animations, but that's still animations and mechanics is still under the development of developers. Okay. So I was still thinking I meant to say developers will be studying animations and stuff like that for the futures and everything, like proper animations, and even on just landscaping and what they can do on graphical wise on these next gen consoles, because it's a lot of the movement is like a lot of the movement I was watching, like, it, to me, like I said, it looks smooth for some people who are playing and everything. And even if it wasn't smooth, there's things that they can look to see how can they improve upon for the next gen. I think Zelda Breath of the Wild won like one of the games of the generation in many people's books, because there was a lot of things and basic things you can do in that game that you really couldn't do in other games, which made it really unique.
Period.
Okay.
What'd you say?
It's game of the generation, period.
Well, I think it's also game of the generation too. But we started on Nintendo Direct, so I guess we can move on from that topic. Everyone says it. We'll see what happens. Next topic. I also want to go over some donations too. Shout outs to Mac Mega with the $3, and he says, "Here's an idea: all minors 17 years old or younger going to these tourneys have to be with the parent or guardian, and more security at these hotels as well." Yeah, I think anybody. I think 17 is the cut to where you can do what you want for the most part.
I don't even think those kids should be in hotels. I think it should be one day thing, go in, tournament, leave.
Yeah, or you should you're in a hotel with your parent, or you're with your guardian, or you're in a hotel with them there. Like, they're with you at all times. Because, like, if your parents there, then your parents there. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing wrong with that.
Hotel parent will do nothing. We know how to sneak away.
No.
Well, that's definitely not true for all families.
That's not true for all families. If a parent, after hearing all this, if a parent goes with the kid to which, by the way, that's actually been done. I think Mr. E, who was a professional Smash Brothers player, his dad came with him to tournaments. when he was young. When he was playing in Smash 4 and Brawl, he's only like he's the same age as like Nairo. I think he's like 22, 23 years old. And his dad would come there and people would be like, "Oh man, your dad's there?" That's kind of corny, right? But he didn't care. His dad was like, "Well, no, I'm going with you." His dad would literally fly with him to tournaments and stay in the hotel with him and be there the whole time with them on weekends. So I think that would be like the option would be like if you're under 17, you got to be with a guardian, a parent or a guardian. And if you're 17 and older, you can be there yourself. I think that's the next thing. That's the way to do it. I personally don't feel that 13-year-olds and stuff should be competing in tournaments cross country. Like that's just it should just be like VC said, like a local thing, like if you got a local, you can go to it, you go there, you come back home, you go there the next day. If you make it the day 2, if you want to go hang out with your friends, whatever, but you got to have like a parent or guardian there. But like 13, 14, 15-year-olds should not be flying across countries or going to different state borders or driving with their friends all the way to certain places for tournaments. Like that shouldn't be a thing at all, I think not anymore, at least. Like if you're 13, go to school, you know what I'm saying? Go play outside, go shoot a basketball or play at home. Like you don't need to be trying to compete against MK Leo in Genesis 7 at 13. I just personally feel you don't need to be doing that at 13, like you don't need to be doing that.
It's like you're going, it's like, these people are, you're right. I'm glad you pointed that out. It's like you're an adult at this point. Like you're like MK Leo and I mean, you're adults, pursuing a career in competitive gaming. At 13 years old, as VC said, your mind isn't even fully developed yet. So you don't even have a full idea on what you want to be. And it's like, it's a sneak peek to tomorrow's video, but really don't let your hobby become a job. That's actually what I'm touching on tomorrow for Beast for Breakfast. It's like it's funny we're touching on this because it's like there's so many dangers in that.
If it naturally turns into it, then okay.
There you go.
Like this is my job. I did not set out. Like I did not set out for it. It just naturally happened.
But you see, at the same time, it's like there's a healthy balance because which I'm gonna discuss. It's like when it does happen, it has to be more than just one thing. You do more than just one thing on your channel that a lot of people don't take into probably consideration. You don't just talk about gaming news. You have live streams. You have podcasts where you talk with other people other than just, the chat, but you talk with people, around you as if we're all in the same room, even though we're not. So doing a plethora of different things and rotating different things keeps it fresh. And then so it's not boring per se. There's people who I will say you play nothing but Smash. Sometimes you can lose your mind because that's all you know. And then you are not a balanced human being in some cases because that's all you do. So there's so much that could go into that.
You're absolutely right. And I think that they see the fame. They see like what these other kids or they see the MK Leos that started at 9 years old. He won his first tournament at 9 years old. They see these guys like, man, I want to do that. But I think that process at that age, it's too early. And by letting these kids sign up for these tournaments where there's prize money, by the way, you know what I'm saying? Where there's money involved.
All $20.
No, some of it they're going to 20 and an amiibo sometimes. You can sometimes win an amiibo. I know because I've won an amiibo before. But I see what you're saying. But where there's prize money involved and there's stuff like that, I think it's too early for that. I think kids should be focusing on other things. Focus on your school. And like if you get good, you get good. Play online. You know what I'm saying? Like play online, do other things. But
I can't see in the chat what happened.
TH3, he just went on you.
No surprise. Let's talk about TH3 who lost me 5 times a year in Night Smash. Let's continue to stream now.
All right, so let's see. Let's go to move on to the next topic here, guys. Shout outs to some new subscribers, Mr. Gordon Smith, also JMYV and Sang. Thank you guys so much for the subscriptions. Appreciate that. So let's go move on to the next topic here, guys. And I wanted to actually throw this one in before we get into the last topic. Min just came out for Smash. So I wanted to get you guys' quick impressions on
Well, Min. Hold on. There's one topic we're missing.
What?
We didn't talk about...
Why is that even a topic?
Min in Smash is cool. You guys don't want to talk about Min?
I want to talk about Min, but we need to talk about the other topic. Abby, that whole topic that's in the title of the video. The stream.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's talk about that. I forgot about that. Let's talk about that instead. We can talk about Min some other time.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
so
or after.
There was an article... that what was it? Polygon. And I read the article, and the article said that Abby's inclusion in The Last of Us Part 2 proves that gamers can't handle
go read this article.
buff women in gaming.
You're gonna cringe just looking at it.
And I said it's a reach. I said
I remember. I saw your caption.
I didn't say that it was wrong. I said they reaching. They reaching a little bit. They
stretch Armstrong in?
Yeah, they stretch a little bit because there's been multiple buff women in gaming before.
Throughout multiple game genres.
Yeah, this is not the first time that there's been a buff woman. Like, there's been buff women in all forms of media. I think people just...
I don't know about you, but I think Chun-Li is buff.
Yeah, Chun-Li's legs are ridiculously muscular.
Many fighting games have...
Cammy, who else?
Cammy's very petite buff. She's very thin and muscular, but I think they're talking about, like, literally bulky women. Like Abby is bulky.
That's
you know what I'm saying? Like, Abby's bulky. So she's not thin by any means. She's a bulky woman with huge arms, you know? And
I think the better term is husky for her.
She's bulky. No, she's bulky. Her arms are as like a guy's arms almost. She's bulky. She's like a bodybuilder almost, you know?
So manly is what you meant.
They're bulky. She has bulky, hypertrophied arms. Like, when you lift so much and your arms get expanded to where, like, they look kind of like the way that she looks like. She has triceps. She has defined triceps. She has biceps. She has defined arms. She's bulky.
I mean, Shiva from Mortal Kombat, she buff.
Exactly, Shiva from Mortal Kombat. There's many different.
There's that one Xenoblade character with the giant arms. They're literally enormous arms. I can't remember their name off the top.
Yeah, it's Xenoblade Chronicles 2. The girl, the captain girl,
with the fire.
Yeah, with the fire
too.
And then there's also a Dragon's Crown. There's the naked buff lady where she's super buff. She's wearing next to nothing, but she's super buff.
So okay, I'm seeing where they're coming from in this article, and they try to make it. It seems like that this author is excluding fighting games because it just from the sentence alone, the idea seems to make these protagonists desirable to straight men. Where it's almost the sentence before that was it's a lot, but basically. It's the women features are often delicate, and they was trying to go by female protagonists. And the one in mind I'm thinking of who they're trying to compare this to. If I didn't even get through the whole article, they're trying to compare Abby to Lara Croft, basically. Or
I think the biggest problem, it's not that gamers, and the problem with this article is that they are intentionally leaving out the part of how people hate.
It's very
Abby.
Close-minded.
Yeah, it's very close-minded because they are intentionally leaving out the part that people hate Abby. People do not like Abby.
Like, as a character.
As a character, they don't like her. She's thrown into this game. She's given too much and too little of time over 7 years. They had the potential to develop Abby in a side game or in something, and they throw her in here, and she's just this big thing. And nobody cares. Not nobody cares, but a lot of people, they felt that it was too much too soon in 7 years' time. There should have been some DLC with Abby. There should have been some character build-up. She's too much in what people really were expecting. So I think that's the problem. It's not that people can't handle a buff character. That's not it. It's just people just don't like her because of what she does in the game, plain and simple. And she's thrown into this game as a main character with all of her stupid friends that people just don't care about because we didn't know who they were or what they were doing or anything. And we wait 7 years, and all these people, Bendejo, like Joe, what's this called? Angry Joe was saying in his room, like, nobody cares about all of these people that you're throwing into this game. And Abby being this character that we have no bond with. We have no bond with Abby.
Yeah.
Where is the bond with Abby? We have a bond with Joel, and we have a bond with Ellie.
Had. Continue.
That's where we have a bond with. We do not have a bond with bodybuilder Abby and all of her friends that we don't like.
I'm pretty sure if we're comparing to other female protagonists, Samus can lift some heavy weights, I'm pretty sure. Bayonetta, she can make the hair hands and
Samus can rip most people in half.
She can rip Abby in half without her a Zero Suit form.
But
like literally step on her with her boots and shoot her with her boot. Like that, like Zero Suit Samus would rock Abby to the next dimension.
But what I'm trying to say is that it's not because we can't handle that. It's like we don't like Abby. If Abby,
Exactly.
it's not about not handling it. Yes, people made trans jokes, blah blah blah, whatever the case is, but that's because it was before the game launched, and the game is there's very woke moments in The Last of Us, right? The scenarios that they write, like there is a situation with somebody who is going through that. There is a big trans type of situation in The Last of Us Part 2. You know what I'm saying? Which is, I think it was written well for what they were trying to do, trying to make people understand. But like I said, I don't know if it was too, like, whether you care about all of this is another thing, because it went away from saving humanity, what the cure is going to be, what it went to revenge plot. You know what I'm saying?
It totally changed the whole entire dynamic.
It changed the whole dynamic. We went from, okay, we're gonna be able to save the world. There's gonna be this to a revenge plot.
It's like what happened to the future. Just threw out the whole future for revenge.
Yeah, exactly. What happened to the future? What happened to what's going on with what happened to all that? The dynamics that we built up in the first game, which I played the first game recently, and I went left behind. Were destroyed in this game. So I don't want to hear any. We can't handle Abby because she's buff. That's not it. I don't like Abby. I don't like her. I don't like her. So. Okay. I think she's inserted into this game. She's given too much and too little of time. I don't like her. It's ridiculous storytelling for a game that we waited 7 years for. This is ridiculous. It's absolutely nonsense storytelling, in my opinion. Nonsense. So that's it. It has nothing to do with her arms being buff. I like buff arms. Buff arms are good. That's cool. People lifting, I like it. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can lift and be buff. But it has nothing to do with her being buff.
I feel as though, I see what you're saying. It's a reach. I see the case that they're trying to pull and everything, because the internet has shown us that they can have crazy views sometimes. So I see where they're coming from, but I also see where you're saying it's a reach, because it's omitting the fact that her character itself isn't the greatest. I could understand if she was a likable character, but even from the clips that I've seen, it's almost like, who is she? Yeah. And I'm like, okay, it's almost like, I'll say this, it's a hard sell to make the villain cool. If you're going to play the villain or to play the opposing person of someone that's to the people who they love, especially if people already develop a strong relationship.
7 years, by the way.
7 years. They develop a strong care for main characters. If you create a character that is supposed to be against these characters, it's a hard sell to make that person likable.
Oh, and then you force feed us to try to make us like her by
exactly.
Whereas Ellie, which Angry Joe did a great job of this, Ellie's out here stabbing dogs and killing dogs, and Abby's out here petting dogs.
You know what it's like,
and treating dogs. Like they do their best to try to make us love Abby. That's why I said in my review.
And to think that
Ellie backfired dramatically. Now, some people might love Abby, but to me it backfired. It backfired.
VC, go ahead. And I got a point that you would actually appreciate. Go ahead, VC.
It's like they were trying to make it so Ellie, who was with Joel for an entire adventure in the first game, learned nothing from him and went into this entire deep pit of not depression, but revenge. Just going deep down to revenge, not focusing on everything that she basically was taught from Joel in this apocalyptic world. And that's why they, like you said, they had Abby doing the ball with the dogs, all these nice little things to try and make us be interested in her.
And you know what? Here's the thing that I will say with that. Basically, OJ, I think you could actually appreciate this point. This is like a poorly written Naruto arc where they try to sell the bad guy to you,
and they forget about the prior arc. That's anything that happened in the prior.
That's
arc.
Literally what this is. It's a poorly written Naruto arc.
No, you're absolutely right, because I used to hate Itachi, but then you realize what happened with him, and then you love Itachi.
Exactly.
He still did very bad things. He did, but it was built over a long period of time. We didn't like.
Exactly.
Some of y'all love Itachi, but you think that Itachi is this horrible person, And you're thinking that, and you're thinking, okay, he's gonna get what's coming to him, and then you finally realize, wait a minute, it's not all that. But the problem was that they try to jam all of the 100 million episodes of Nuts into a 25-hour game, and it blows up in their face, and it blew up in their face. That's the
best analogy I can give.
Great analogy, or better, great analogy, because it's definitely a.
Like there is time for people to appreciate Itachi.
You had time to appreciate and understand why. Like you had so much. Like you had a good amount of hours to understand what he had to go through and why. With Abby, from what I'm understanding, it's almost like you get kind of why, but it's like your why sucks.
Yeah, no, the why absolutely sucks. And mild spoiler alert for the end of Last of Us Part 1. Last of Us Part 1, when Joel goes to save Ellie, Abby's father initiated it, okay? So that even makes it a little bit where Abby's father grabs a knife and points it at Joel. You know what I'm saying? And that wasn't even addressed. People say, oh, well, Joel's a bad person. He did this, he did that. Dude, like, he just wanted Ellie and wanted to get out of there, all right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They could have been left alive. All right, he just wanted to take Ellie and go. He grabbed the knife and he initiated it. All right, and I understand he felt that it was bigger than humanity. I get that for a cure for this, but at the same time, when I know that in my head, I'm like, yo, wait a minute. Her dad grabbed the knife and started it with him, and then this happens. No, fam, no. There's nothing that you can do to make me like this character. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's her dad,
especially with the beginning of the game, like how everything happened with, I'm not going to say it for people who haven't played the game, and like how he was trying to be like, oh, you guys seem like nice people. It's like, didn't you go through an entire game where you didn't trust anyone and you taught Ellie not to trust anyone? And then you try and trust these people, and these things happen. It's like crazy things. Crazy things with this game. They ruined what was there, and I didn't even like what was there in the first place.
There's no development with these characters. People are saying Abby's nice and respectable. I don't know that. She's thrown into this, and the first thing that we see that she does is horrible. After, by the way, Joel and Tommy save her.
Yeah. When
they
I saw that spoiler, I was like, hold up.
They save her life. And then they do this, you know what I'm saying? So even after they save her and they say, hey, you guys can come back, you guys can stock up, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then they do that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then like there's crazy plot armor. There's just, like I said, go watch Joe's review. I think Joe does a great job of summarizing a lot of this type of stuff that, that he says there. I mean, look, I don't find these people, I don't find Abby and her crew likable at all. I don't find her respectable. If I just got saved from somebody, I wouldn't be so quick to blast them in the leg and torture them, regardless of what they did. They just saved my life. But they're respectable and likable. No, this game has multiple areas where there's problems there. If you are scared for your life, and even if it was somebody who did something to you wrong in the past, you would at least, you know what I'm saying? Hear them out. Ask them what happened. There was none of that. She took a shotgun and blew his leg off without even questioning a thing. What happened? Why did you do it? And then she tortured him. Like, in the very beginning of the game.
Are we getting our spoilers?
Look, I don't care. If you haven't played it yet, you should have been past the
golf
first part
clubs, everyone.
You should have been past the first part of the game at this point.
Yeah, I was like, that's a spoiler that I saw. I was like, oh snap, this just got real. So that's why I said it's like, and to your point, it's like how can you make someone like that character after everyone? It's like, people got to understand, and I feel like the person who wrote that article was not just want to let me be great right now. Everyone was that. All right, I'm gonna say my point as I fix this. Like, everyone is forgetting the point that when Joel was revealed for Last of Us 2, how happy everyone was. Everybody was happy when Joel was revealed.
Joel's there. Oh, by the way, 5 minutes later, Joel's not there anymore.
And then as soon as Joel dies, it's like, how can you expect people to like this character?
Joel's back, guys. Joel's there.
Like, how does he trust them? And like, oh, you could join our group, our colony.
Why would you do that to people? I mean, like,
After
that's just
teaching
wrong.
Ellie in the first game not to trust anyone. Like,
that's the only part that
Joel's back. Oh, we can't wait to play as Joel. Oh yeah, don't worry. That gameplay's gonna end real quick. You can't wait to play.
And it's like the way they did Joel was messed up.
It was dirty. It was dirty. They did Joel dirty. They did Joel dirty.
And it's like the way they did him dirty, and the fact that they made it's like you gotta put it on top of that. Not only did they kill Joel, but they made Ellie watch. Like, do you understand? Like, if you was invested in both of these characters, there's nothing you could do to make them like Abby at this point. Nothing.
They didn't even let you play as Joel, like with the fight scene at the beginning when Abby was there with Abby and Tommy. You freaking play as Abby. Like, they didn't even let you play as Joel in the fight scene with the infected. Like, they made you play as Abby, even though they know 12 hours into the game there's a whole campaign with Abby. They made you play with her at the beginning. They couldn't even give Joel that. My man couldn't even get some gameplay in the infected area at the beginning of the game. It's I'm done.
Get used to Abby.
So basically, to sum it up, it's trash. Like I said,
the storyline,
Story-wise,
is there's some
trash.
It's the thing
but graphically, animation, sound design, all that stuff is like top of the notch.
It's like
top of the notch.
The storyline,
story-wise, they took a dookie all over everything.
The storyline
like,
is
everything
dookie.
that the people that liked about Last of Us Part 1, people don't like about Part 2, basically.
The storyline's dookie
for everyone.
The way that they did it is dookie, but it can be looked. Some people think of it as, because you can be fooled by the what's it called? The voice acting is like top notch, like
yeah, that too.
Hollywood. So it can be easily thinking, oh, wait a minute, is this a good story? Because the voice actors are so good. They are very, very good. So they put on very believable experiences and all that. But when you boil down how they did things, it's very It's just
all right, move on to the next thing.
Min Min
and Smash. Anybody download Min Min? Who download Min Min? I got her to Elite.
Of course.
I will say is I haven't gotten Min Min, but I tried. I did fight against Min Min with Kirby. Goodness, Kirby absorbing Min Min is ridiculous, like straight up ridiculous. Kirby's like edge guard goes up 110% with that power. I will say that much.
Min Min's edge guarding is god tier.
Very good.
It is.
She's
one of the best in the game.
Oh yeah, she's one of the best edge guarders in the game.
Yeah, I didn't download that heifer.
What?
I gotta be.
Oh, because you were salty that it wasn't
really good.
You're upset that it wasn't Twintel.
I just didn't download because I don't care about ARMS.
I just think.
But y'all cared about Twintel.
I cared about Twintel.
Twintel would have been dope and everything. But if you guys remembered, you guys asked who do I think it's going to be? I said it was going to be Min Min. Yep. I just said I told you guys I wanted it to be Twintel.
Yeah.
But I see it being Min Min.
Yeah.
And that's what I saw happening.
Anyway, let's move on from that L to another topic.
I think we're at the $70 games topic, so I want to.
$70. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So we're gonna do this, then we'll take a couple questions, then we'll wrap it up, so you guys aren't here too late. So NBA 2K21 is going to have multiple different versions, and I saw Barry said that you're gonna cop this one because of the Mamba version.
No, I said I was gonna cop the Mamba version. I ain't say nothing about no next gen $70.
Yeah, you're gonna cop the Mamba version of the game, but the next gen version of this game is $70. So does this set a precedent that there could be $70 games, that a lot of games will be $70 next gen for the standard pricing? So
definitely. And I don't want people to try to jump on 2K just because they're the first one to put it out there. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure every other third party has the same damn plan.
Listen, I got the solution to all this. If you want them, and I'm dead serious. I'm not joking. Even though it's like I'm playing around. I'm exactly, because everyone here is on Twitter. I'm gonna say it again.
Yep.
If you do not support this, do not, and if you have do not order your these consoles day one, and do not support the PlayStation 5. Don't support Sony with PlayStation 5. Don't support Xbox with Series X. Do not support these companies at all. Do not buy the new consoles. Do not buy the new games. Let these games and these consoles collect dust. And when they see those first month or those first weekend sales are at zero, best believe they'll change their tune. I promise you.
That's
the
exactly
thing I
how
want
it
to
is.
say real quick about this is that this kind of changes the whole dynamic of the launch between the two systems. It pretty much is, because I'm pretty sure third parties are not going to be the only ones selling their games at 7. So obviously,
you know what?
Going to do the same. So that's going to make it even harder for people to jump to a next generation system, especially if you're trying to sell somebody a Spider-Man DLC expansion for $70 like that. That's just ridiculous, right?
That is ridiculous.
Here's the thing, though, with 2K. They're selling the same game on the PS4, Xbox, and Switch just at $60, and then at the new consoles it's $70. So it's like, why would you want to go forward? But you can get the same games, at least for this year and next year, maybe even the year after that, on the current consoles. Because that's usually what they do anyway for the first few years of the new generation. They still bring some games to the prior consoles.
Someone brought up an interesting point on Twitter. They said perhaps it's the marketing campaign. They have larger marketing campaigns they're going to be doing with these consoles, and I don't even believe that's the case because I don't see anything changing. Honestly, what I've seen with the PlayStation 5, what I've seen with Series X is not much of a graphical leap. And to me, it doesn't justify the price gap, because if that's the case, why are the PC counterparts not $80 then or $90? They are $60 like everything else, and they run way better than the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So, go ahead.
And you know what's funny? They might hike up the PC versions.
And
hike up the PC versions now. This is. I told people, man, starting back with Final Fantasy Remake Demo Edition, I said, man, look, y'all got to stop letting these companies get away with this bull crap. And now we
Final Fantasy. See, the thing is, did you beat that game, Baron?
You know he did it.
I didn't know. No, I didn't touch that.
Okay, so OJ, do I have permission?
I can't talk about the value that is put into it. Yes, I can.
No, OJ, do play it. OJ, do I? Well, Baron, OJ, first of all, do I have permission to speak about spoilers on your cast?
Well, Final Fantasy 7?
He just spoiled the whole last
for the remake.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, look, I think the
remake is not the same as the original. That's all we have to say.
It's a new game. It's worth the value of if you're talking about time spent on how much time you spend and how much game you get. Is it worth the $60? Yes, that's all we need to know. Yes, it has enough in there for it to be worth the $60. If you want to do it, if you want to, it has. I spent
story-wise though, it's also different though.
I spent 40-something hours in the game.
Not to say what you were saying, Abaddon, but
It's different. So that's why I can't say it's so much like a demo edition, because I get your point, Baron. Because Baron, I do want to say the heart behind what you're saying is right.
Fact.
And even what OJ was saying is like the heart behind what you're saying. I get it, and that I do agree with. When you're gonna say a game is $70 for a base game, especially with 2K, which is like literally the same game as last year
with microtransactions, by the way, tons of
Deadlock. There's no spoilers. We're not doing spoilers. Deadlock. I won't say anything.
We didn't do anything.
Don't worry.
We didn't say anything.
But where I'm getting at with this is because I don't want to do spoilers for the people who are waiting for this for Xbox One X and for people who are waiting for PC. So I won't say no spoilers. But check this out: $70. If you don't want that, literally be vocal about it on social media and don't buy it. Like, don't just be vocal. Okay, I'm gonna say this because I have to say this. This is the other part of that tweet that I didn't say it. Do not be vocal about it and Pokemon Sword and Shield it. That's how I gotta put it.
You know that's what's gonna happen. And you think of the console market, it's not like the PC market where we're all plugged in with what's going on of the community and drama and the companies. The people, I know this because at my ever part-time job, they buy NBA every year. They don't know about EA's and 2K's and all the companies' drama. Mm-hmm. They like playing their basketball games and they like playing their Madden. They don't care. So what you're saying is essentially pointless, and they're never going to listen. And sadly, that's the majority of the console market.
Yep.
Well,
like I mentioned before, some people have PS4s and Xboxes, and all they have is 2K games and GTAs and Call of Duties, and that's it.
No.
Well, that's different.
And then they justify the microtransactions too.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
That's the worst.
They listen. They only have power if we're going to continue to invest in that. And I
this
feel
is why consoles hold back the market. Actually, consoles shouldn't even be a thing. There should only be PCs.
That I don't agree with.
I don't agree with
that. I don't agree with that at all, because there are people who cannot afford high-end PCs to play.
It costs $300 to build a gaming PC, but okay.
Well, it's not $300.
Well, hold on, though.
$300
$300 to play on a lower end scale when PS4 and Xbox One are more mid range or closer to mid range and lower end scale. So you still get more value on playing on a console for some people.
You don't get value for paying for online. You're getting scammed.
Well, look, there are some advantages. There are multiple advantages of PC gaming. That is true.
Yeah,
but there are also advantages of console gaming as well.
Yeah.
Like paying for online.
No, paying for
if
online.
that's your only thing and everything, okay, you pay a little extra to use the services there, which
I pay my Wi-Fi. That should be enough.
But okay, but you know what though? At the same time, that's assuming everyone plays online games. Because Last of Us 2, for a lot of people play through the story mode. Breath of the Wild is not an online game. So we could go down that road. We could really go down that road.
And on top of that, the problem, and here's the thing, I think like the problem with PC, which I always had, is that PC has like these no real physical games. Everything is digital pretty much only, and I like my real physical games. And PC influenced the console market so much to where now there are no real physical games. Everything is essentially a digital game. You're getting a DRM key or whatever for all these games that I have here physical.
There's no DRM on
well, not DRM, but you're getting a check to make sure that it installs the whole game. Like if I have a physical game like this right here, it installs the whole thing to my hard drive, and then I still need the disc to play the game because it just checks to see that I have it.
Yeah, and preservation, PC and digital files actually last longer than that disc will ever last.
Yeah, but wait a minute, hold up. But what if you don't have it like backed up, like through like let's say Steam or whatever the case is, and your hard drive fails or whatever, But I mean, I get it. Like PC doesn't have physical normal. A lot of times, like you don't have a real physical game for PC.
I have RGB. That's enough.
Look. Let's not get into that argument, man. It's just ridiculous. Like,
I'm just saying. I think that consoles, like to me, like I said, look, I'm glad that Nintendo's one of the last bastions of real physical games and actual hardware, not a PC. Like
imagine paying $70 for a digital game.
I don't want to
no one can defend this.
For me, I'm gonna be real with you guys. Can I keep it a buck with you guys? I had more fun playing Final Fantasy VII Remake on this 50-inch screen TV right here than my monitor. Why? Because I do most of my work through this computer, through this monitor. And yes, by frame specs and everything, yes, I know things run better on a monitor, Zildjian, but laying down and sitting down on the couch and playing on a big screen, to me,
yes.
That experience.
This is exactly where I sat when I played Final Fantasy
VII latency is dependent upon games. In RPGs like Final Fantasy VII Remake, it doesn't really. It's not much of a difference in playing on the monitor.
Well, the game runs at 30 FPS, which makes it unplayable, anyways.
Well, that's not.
It's not. That's not unplayable.
It's not unplayable.
Yeah, anything
for an RPG
is unplayable.
For an RPG, no.
I told you this before. RPGs have every right to be 30
need
FPS.
At least 90 to be playable to me.
Okay, Big Z. PC Master Race. Okay.
90 what?
FPS.
Frames per second.
Oh,
he's saying exactly.
That's ridiculous.
Right there.
No.
Exactly.
No.
Come on, Big Z. Come on.
No.
It's an RPG. It's not a racing game.
No,
it's not a fighting game.
Okay, so wait, hold up.
FPS. Like,
hold up.
Those games,
VC,
you're right, Big Z, but
VC, I got this. So Zildjian, let me just ask you this: is Breath of the Wild unplayable?
On actual Nintendo hardware, yes. I played on Simu.
And so on actual Nintendo hardware, Breath of the Wild is unplayable. Playing it on the Nintendo Switch is unplayable.
Why do you get your popcorn?
I just want to hear that. I just want to hear that.
Get your chips ready.
It is. I bought the game on the Switch, and then I got it on Cemu. I didn't pirate it because I actually bought the game.
Yeah, that's gonna be an L. That's gonna be an L for me. To say that it's unplayable. I mean, is it better? Like better frame rate? Is that better? Sure, but is it unplayable? No.
This is what you gotta understand. Play at 1440p, 120 FPS on my PC.
This is what you gotta understand. These PC nerd souls are in a whole nother world. You gotta understand.
No, because better doesn't mean unplayable. I can understand better. Does it run better? Of course, because on the PC, guess what? You can do 4K mods and everything. So we could go down that route all we want, But I want to say this. So we're gonna go down this. What was your first console, Zildjian? I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole more with you. What was your first console?
The very first console I ever owned was gifted.
The very first console was a super powered PC. It was a supercomputer PC, 9,000 frames per second. It was playing Quake and 10 million frames per second. That Mario game? Who needs that Mario game? That Mario game is trash.
My brother, I'm just.
The very first thing I ever had was a PS1 with Resident Evil 2, and I thought, this is really slow, and I didn't understand what it was at the time, but everything just felt slow to me.
But have you played Rugrats on the PlayStation?
So, but did you beat the game?
No.
So have you ever beaten a console game before?
I've beaten tons of them.
So they were playable.
So they were playable.
You made it that way far.
So if you beat these console games, they're playable. Or did you begrudgingly go? Oh, these just
I love you, man. I
I can physically between 30 and 60 FPS, and it bothers me.
But you said I'm playing. But you beat tons of console games, though, bro.
Yeah, I'm 21 years old. I've been playing games my entire life. I don't know.
Zildjian.
No, but it's playable though. Like you don't understand what we're trying to say here because unplayable means I can't play it, I can't beat it, I can't do it.
Zildjian. The only reason why I'm doing that, man, is like right here. You're in the community where I want to make this clear, guys. I'm not making fun of Zildjian. Zildjian's the homie. Yeah. And I want to make sure because I don't want you guys in the chat making fun of him. I see that.
Don't do
that. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Be a friend.
You know what he sound like right now? Sound like VC saying he hate Pokemon but got 100 hours.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is I already buried you.
No sense, dog.
Nah. I did. I gave you the L because I gave you the L because I gave one to Baron early. I'm just being fair, but
that's not a true L at the end of the day.
Nah, because at the same time,
5,000 hours in Pokemon. I thought it was the horse game.
At the same time,
excuses in the chat like 200, 300,
Pokemon Store his field is
450,
unplayable.
250, 150.
That boy got like 3 weeks worth of damn pay.
And then THU's like, 13th place, but then he doesn't say how he got beat by me 5 times.
No, bro, VC is the Pokemon League champion.
I am. I don't even play Pokemon anymore. That's how good I am.
This man's shiny hunting, but
this man's the Sword and Shield champion of the podcast.
But no, let me say this. Let me say this, Zildjian. The only reason why is because it's like
wait, BC, you got 205 hours of
I don't got 205 hours.
Why everybody saying you got 205 hours?
Because that's the type of people they are.
No, they're throwing out a number. I think he has over 100, but we don't know exactly.
Yeah,
we don't know exactly where it is, but he's got over 100. We don't know exactly where it is though. Because one
thing I do want to say also towards Zildjian, this is just for anyone. It's like you really got to be careful to work because I think Zildjian, the only reason why is like we use the word unplayable. Most people in the chat are thinking WWE 19 for the Switch.
Yes. Not at all.
Yeah, hey, but we could all agree that's unplayable.
That's literally unplayable.
Yeah.
But when you say, because like I can understand where you're coming from, it's kind of like it's harder to play because I'll use this example and I'll throw myself out there just so it's like I'm not trying to go at you. For me, it's very hard for me to play Apex Legends on the PlayStation 4 as opposed to the Xbox One and the PC, because 30 frames per second on the PS4, it moves way slower. It's harder for me to move around. And from playing normally on PC and then going downgrading for that, for me, that was harder. That was a lot. It was a lot harder to play. Now, was it unplayable? No. But harder to play, I would definitely say.
Now, unplayable probably isn't the right word, but it's like for some experiences, like an FPS game.
Okay.
Anything under 60 is unplayable to me because I'm so used to 90 and 120.
There you
and
go.
Even 240.
There you go.
And 60 is just that bare minimum that you can do on certain genres of games.
There you go.
Yes, an RPG is playable, I guess, but everything still moves so slow in a slower-paced RPG.
VC go? VC bounce.
VC bounce.
VC did.
Wait, hold up.
Hold on. Where VC at?
Where did VC go?
He might get exposed for how many hours he has. Is he back? VC, you good, bro?
VC.
Yo,
VC.
my phone's on 10%.
Oh, okay.
So,
You got to
my
plug it
phone's
in.
like-
Okay.
VC.
okay.
Yeah, well, I'm
VC.
definitely gonna have to plug it in a second. I was trying to turn off the sign, and now am I on the screen right now? Because I don't even see myself on my phone.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
good.
you
No,
are.
you're not on the screen.
Let me say something.
I'm not
real
on screen. That's
Oh,
weird.
you are on the
No,
screen.
you
I can-
are.
I can see you.
Oh, now you are.
Yeah,
Before you wasn't. Now
That's
you are.
weird. I'm not on my phone. I don't see myself or Baron.
We see you.
I see Abaddon. I see you, OJ. I see Big Z. That's it. What's
All
up?
right, so we gotta ask you some questions, man.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
just sat
no,
up here-
no, legit.
No,
VC.
no. OJ, stop. I got this. You just sat up here and lied to me in the whole panel.
And
I asked you how many hours you had in Pokemon Sword.
Sword.
How many? It says right here on your profile, Pokemon Sword, 205 hours.
And guess who?
How did you put
cares?
100 more hours in this game? I need answers.
No,
Wait a
it's
second.
been like that
Wait-
since January.
Wait a
It's been
second.
exactly like that
This man got 205 hours.
since January.
Wait.
yes,
Wait.
back
Hold up.
then.
Hold up. Wait.
Which I haven't
VC.
played since then. But
VC,
if you notice, see how I don't care.
205 hours.
VC. We'll say this, man. Do you enjoy Pokemon?
I enjoyed Pokemon from Black and White 2.
No, you
You
enjoyed it.
No,
Damn,
I'm talking about
man.
Sword and Shield.
Girl.
Did you enjoy Sword and Shield?
No, because I never reached 1,000 hours, which I've mentioned that 100 times in the
Wait, 1,000 hours is enjoyment?
Yes.
Then I
At
don't enjoy
least
any
for
of my.
Pokemon.
I don't enjoy
For
any of my
Pokemon,
games.
yes.
Shoot.
Okay,
Because for
hold on,
me,
hold on.
I
Let
would
me
normally play
say
Pokemon for
something.
1,000 hours minimum.
Let me say something, VC.
It's
Yeah,
obviously not a good game if I dropped it for 6 months.
Okay,
That's clearly a
hold
bad
on.
Pokemon game.
VC, let me ask you this question. You consider Animal Crossing a good game, right?
But there's a difference. Yes, there's a reason why it's a good game.
Okay, you like that, but you hate Pokemon Sword and Shield. So why do you
Yes.
only have 100 hours in Animal Crossing, but 200 in Pokemon?
Because I stopped playing Animal Crossing 2 months ago.
Oh, okay. So from looking at this here, the only game that you played more than Pokemon is Super Smash Brothers.
And Xenoblade. And Mario Maker 2. And I think Odyssey is right behind it.
VC, come on, man.
I don't think you put 200 hours into a game if you don't like it. I mean, I
I
don't.
have-
That's a lot of
Yes.
time to put into a
VC,
game if you don't like
like,
it, bro.
VC,
Like, I'm
those
just
games are
saying,
ahead.
like.
Well, those
You
games
have
are ahead,
130
so.
hours.
VC, I like
130 hours in
Monster
Mario
Boy.
Kart, yes, that as well. Yes.
VC,
No.
I loved Monster Boy. I have under 200 hours in that game.
And you only have 90 hours in goddamn Fire Emblem.
Hey, at least I'm still playing Fire Emblem.
Yeah, but Fire Emblem,
Not
you
more
can
than
put way more
Pokemon,
than
obviously.
you can put way more than 90 hours in Fire Emblem easy. 'Cause my one playthrough in Fire Emblem was 90
of
hours.
course, yes, but with Pokemon, you have to grind all the levels, make sure you have at least a full box of
It's easy
competitively
to
viable
grind in
Pokemon, and I stopped
It's
playing it
fast.
in January.
It's-
So
it's
I like how you
fast.
guys are trying to give me an L, and it's like, clearly, I don't give a rat's
Well, yeah,
ass.
VC, but
Clearly.
no, if
I have
if
too
you
much
put
pride in
200
myself and
hours
dignity
into
where
a
I don't care
game-
what people say.
If you put
Like,
200 hours into a
205
game, you have to
hours.
like it somewhat. I'm
January.
sorry.
And no, that's not true. I gave it a
No.
review. I gave it the 6 out of
Oh
10,
my
and it is
God,
what
bro.
it is. 6
VC,
out
the
of 10.
last
So that's
time we
then
had
that
this
means you
con-
like it a bit then.
That doesn't mean I like it a bit. It means it was decent at best.
200
You
hours.
wouldn't say indecent before.
Well,
Yeah, you were
I'm saying
it was
at best
worse.
because clearly you guys are like, oh, 6 out of 10 means it has to be at least good, and it's like, no, decent. That's like the best way you can describe it, because it's not a good game.
You actually played this game more than played this game more than Xenoblade. It's your second most played game on this list.
Yeah, I have an issue with somebody saying it's not very good. You have to grind. You have to do all these things, and then there's other games where you claim that are so much better.
When did I say it was bad that you can grind? See, this is why I think it's funny you guys bring up Pokemon again, because you guys like to try and put stuff in my mouth sometimes.
What we're trying to say is this:
why do you have more hours?
Why do you have more hours in this game than other games that have just as much content or more that are better?
Because you have to literally grind up levels to train up your Pokemon.
What about the other games that are better?
What
about the other games that are
hunting? That was most of my time.
Okay.
The game in 15 hours, and the other 180, which all this happened before the end of January. I
won't push the issue because I don't want you. Yeah, if it's bothered, I won't push the issue.
Well, I'm not getting bothered. I'm personally fine. I'm just saying.
I know you're not getting bothered, but the thing is, just say that you like the game. I don't understand.
But I don't, though. I obviously don't. If I haven't played the game. How did you put in 205
hours from November to December 31st? That's insane.
Because you have to literally grind up the levels of all the Pokemon to level 100. I had grinded 60 different Pokemon to level 100. I have to change the natures of all the Pokemon. You have to go into the battle tower to get the BP points, then convert the BP points to the items you need for those Pokemon.
Why are you doing all of that?
That's what I don't like the game. That's what I did because that's just what I did to set it up for the next game. Obviously.
What next game?
Because when Gen 9 comes out, those Pokemon would hopefully get buffs or nerfs that would help them beneficially for the next game. Obviously. And then also with Pokemon Home being a thing, I have to transfer them from the bank anyway into Home regardless. So you have to do that as well.
All right, man. This man got an excuse for everything at this point. This man's thinking about the next game, why you're doing this in this game, and spending more time in games like in Xenoblade.
All I'm saying is right now you're saying exactly what you said about Captain Zack earlier in the stream. So
what did I say? What are you bringing Captain
Excuses.
Zack?
That's nowhere near the same.
It's not the same.
Excuses is the same thing. Excuses is the same thing you mentioned. You did say that.
This took a way left turn.
Hey, y'all wanted to go down the rabbit hole, just like Abby.
Nobody's in the rabbit hole but you. You got 205 hours.
Nah, I ain't in the rabbit hole.
No, I mean, nobody's in there but you.
Hey, well, if y'all can subscribe to my rabbit hole, there's 2 more subscribers away from 1,000.
All right, so
that'd be pretty hyped, though.
You gotta have you gotta have some thick skin to be on this podcast.
Exactly.
This is why everybody hates our podcast. That's why everybody hates us, by the way.
That's why half the people left the podcast.
Because I'm PC master.
One last question for OJ though.
They don't understand.
OJ, how many hours do you have in Pokemon?
I think I have.
He didn't even beat the game.
No, I did beat the
Yeah, I did. Okay. You want to talk about what we talked about before?
100%.
How you skipped last week?
I put 50, 40.
I have 35 hours in Pokemon Shield.
50, 35. I think is around 40 because I think
40. I don't remember how much I have, to be honest.
It takes only 15 hours to beat the game, right?
Yeah, so, that's if you're going straight through.
So what do you guys do with all that?
No. Time. No, stop it, VC.
I know you're not really going to get 205
hours. Reach.
What were you guys doing?
I was playing the damn game because I actually like it.
Yeah, okay. You played the game.
I'm not in denial. I was playing it because I thought the game was okay. The game is not 15 hours straight through no, it's not.
For the main story, it is 15 hours straight through.
That is if you go straight through.
And to some people, they say
sorry, my bad. I wasn't going straight through the game. I was leveling up.
I went straight through the game.
Okay, but you said, what were you guys doing? You were asking about us.
Yeah, just to think about the free time that you did put in, it's kind of hard to think about what you did if you're not into competitive battling, because that's basically what I did since I'm into it, but I also hate the competitive meta because there's literally Pokemon battles in this game, which they changed from prior games. Prior games were 60 minutes for 6-on-6 battles, and they changed it to 20 minutes. You can never finish a battle.
We're gonna take some questions from the chat.
Why I stopped.
I'm playing Xenoblade.
We're gonna take some questions from the chat. So
you guys gotta be playing Brigandine. I already got 15
never going
hours
to admit that he liked that game.
Because I don't like the game.
If you have a question, you can tag me in the chat. If you have a question, you can tag me in the chat.
Where's Marvel to the Alliance, Baron? I haven't heard you talk about that game since it flopped.
How did it flop?
First of all, it didn't. That game didn't flop.
Isn't a flop, but I'm saying someone.
Why is you mad at Ultimate Alliance?
You said 4 million units, Baron. I remember you said 4 million.
Like, why are you? What that has to do with anything?
I don't know what
it has to do with a lot.
I don't. This man bringing out random games, dude.
Hey, y'all trying to throw me in a ditch? I'm trying to throw others
everybody
in
the chat. If you think VC likes Pokemon Sword and Shield, hit that like button.
Well,
that's a good way to get a like button.
It takes 15 hours to
It seems like no one watches my content then if you guys didn't see my review then, obviously.
So. Hey, questions for that are not about VC's time in Pokemon.
Yo, VC, man, we love you, man.
Yeah, we're just messing. We're giving you a hard time, of course. We're giving you a hard time.
Yeah, but
tonight
there was really no reason, though.
We gave Baron a hard. We were JoJoing Baron too.
Yeah, but that's
we were like everyone almost.
JoJo Baron.
We got a joke. We JoJo'd you, Baron, and Big Z on the podcast. There was 3 JoJo's in one stream.
You guys are just jealous of you're not in PC Master Race.
People getting JoJo. Listen, I'm surprised me and Abaddon haven't gotten JoJo.
Listen, y'all could have easily called me. Y'all could have easily called me out on saying FF7 remake and FF7 remake and stuff like that, and on how it didn't sell as good.
Well, I'll deal with you, Abaddon, about Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, and excuse me if I drop out of the call. My phone is going to
go ahead. Roast me.
Okay.
Roast me.
It's not a full game, and it should be only $20.
That's
not roasting.
Anyway, Jumpmon donated $1 and says, I really want Squad Strike Online. Also, Min is win-win. You're not getting Squad Strike. I mean, if we would already got it at this point, so it's not happening. But that'd be cool. Thank you for the $1 donation, though. I wanted to read that out. Sorry that it took a while. We were knee-deep into the podcast. Mad Dog, thank you for the subscription. Germbot, thank you for the subscription. Appreciate that, guys. Monado Mars says, why is there people out there think Last of Us 2 will outsell Animal Crossing New Horizons? Why? Because they were combining the sales of Last of Us Part 1 off the PS3 and the PS4. And
I remember the price.
Well, here's what you got to understand.
They're comparing it to the 3DS version of the game. That's why they thought.
Here's what you got to understand. Sony fans are delusional as fuck. And they believe their franchises are the biggest shits on the planet when they're not. And every time it comes around, they get the dose of reality that that's just not the case.
They were basing it off of Last of Us Part 1 and the sales combined, and they weren't looking at it.
It wasn't only that, OJ, because I was arguing with these people, so you can't tell me what they've been saying.
Well, I mean,
I had people literally tell me that Last of Us was a bigger franchise and a more well-known franchise than Animal. I had multiple people literally tell me that.
Yeah, I know you had that. I saw
so it's like, I'm telling you, they're just delusional as hell. That's what they are.
They were basing it off of like the grandeur, right? So Last of Us Part 1, it got 5 million Game of the Year awards, 10 out of 10s, better reviews, blah blah blah. So they're combining their hype, the reviews, and the sales across both systems to Animal Crossing, which it surpasses Animal Crossing in every aspect. When it came to sales, if you combine the sales, it beat out Animal Crossing. The review scores, it reviews better. The Game of the Years, it's there. So it's PS4. There's more systems now than PS3. Heck yeah, this is gonna be a no-brainer. But what they didn't realize, they didn't factor in the Switch factor of games coming out on Switch always do way better than what we had before. Because you're combining the home console and the portal. You're getting fans from both. Most Switch franchises do better than what they did before. Zelda, Mario, Pokemon.
All of them have it, haven't they?
Every single one has done better. Xenoblade 2, every single one has done better. And they're not factoring that in because they're blinded by their own thought process of what they feel is the best. That's why you have to look at it objectively in a sales situation. If a game is a bigger game, I will admit it doesn't have to be because I like Nintendo more or this or that. Facts are the facts, but at the same time, you've got to look at the now. If they would have said this in 2017, then they have a lot more, ammo to go off of, Baron. Because we don't have the sales numbers for all the big games that were coming out for Switch. But saying that in I think they were saying that in 2019, or was it early 2020? Early 2020. That was
they were saying it in 2018, 2019.
See, it makes
even back then it didn't make any sense because you was combining a re-release. Everybody that bought it the first time bought it the second time. Come on, people! Like it ain't rocket science.
It made a little bit more sense because we didn't have numbers for Switch games, at that time. We didn't have all the numbers. So now that but I saw you arguing with them in 2020, right? At the beginning of the year, or it was
it was last year.
Even in last year, it would have made sense because Smash Brothers, Zelda, and Mario Odyssey were all out, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and all of those beat the previous generation games before, you know. So it didn't make sense last year either. So, but whatever. All right. Let's see. Animal Crossing is an E-rated game. Last of Us 2 is, I think you meant M-rated. Therefore,
yo, VC, you want to play Connect 4?
I'm playing Brigadine. You guys have to play Brigadine.
You have to play.
Super dope strategy RPG. It's insane.
You on Clubhouse?
Yeah, I got Clubhouse. I'm about to save my game and Xenoblade and play Clubhouse.
Are you on my Switch? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I think you were.
Let me see.
I don't have any other questions here, guys. So if you have some more, let me know.
Are you online right now, Baron?
Oh no, I'm not online.
Let me see.
PC, I think you meant Mr. PC talks about how great the graphics are with the TI. Okay, he's not. He's just talking about something else. I don't really see many questions. I don't really see too many.
I haven't really seen any in chat either.
Yeah, I don't really see too many questions here. So we're gonna go ahead and do some outros, and we'll wrap it up here. So VC, where can they find you at?
Yeah. You can find me at my channel, youtube.com/VCIPZ. I can't post it because I haven't been in the chat because I'm on my phone because the PC is going through some issues.
I got you, man.
Okay.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Yeah, I got it. I'll take care
So if you guys want to check out my channel, I do live streams, gameplay, videos, reviews, music, all kinds of different stuff. Videos are a little on hold right now, but there is a bunch of content on the channel, and we're primarily doing PS4 live streams so we get the PC fixed. Thank you all for coming to the stream, of course, for the P podcast, and definitely consider subscribing to the channel because I'm literally just a few subscribers away from 1,300, and it would really mean a lot if we can hit that goal. And I make great content similar to OJ and Abaddon and everyone here with video games, Nintendo, PlayStation, all that kind of stuff. So if any of that stuff interests you, consider checking the channel out.
You guys go subscribe.
And hopefully my phone doesn't die as I'm talking.
Yeah,
about to hit 2% any second.
Also make sure to catch VC on Pokemon Sword. All right.
Yeah, if it was January 2020, how about we catch you in like 2 hours, talk to a Sony pony, talk about Animal Crossing? Oh, it's the best.
You ain't gotta wait for 2 hours. That's probably gonna be like 50.
Yeah, 50 seconds. Yeah, 50 seconds after the stream.
Big Z, where can we catch you?
Zildjian65 on YouTube. I upload every now and again. My sponsored video got delayed again because of a different thing, so that's fun. So you can catch me there. I do mainly music and different stuff. So you can catch me there on Twitter at Zildjian65YT. You can see me go full PC Master Race. Some people.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. And Abaddon, where can they find you at?
You guys can find me over at Abaddon Smith, youtube.com/Abaddon Smith. Right now we're just focused on the Chillcast right now. I am in the process of a channel relaunch right now, and I'm going to be doing some stuff over there that's going to be more music and gaming related, leaning more towards music, and I'll have future channel updates. As far as new content, you can find me on youtube.com/Beats for Breakfast, which I put in the chat right now. I do mostly I don't like saying motivational. I like to say more so encouragement videos because I feel like motivation is a scam sometimes. I'm not gonna talk about that right now, but I will say, just thought-provoking videos, and I also have interviews with fellow content creators. OJ's been on there, RJ85, Spawnwave, Miss Click. I interview different creators and just, prick their minds and just, explore their creative process and allow you guys to see that as well. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe to Beats for Breakfast, as there will be more interviews in the future.
All right. And Baron, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter.
At the Emperor?
At the Emperor. I'm one and only.
All right, so make sure you guys go follow Baron on Twitter as well. And also you did a live stream the other day, which was pretty funny. I was watching it. So he does live
I didn't do no live stream. What you talking about?
It wasn't that long ago. You were talking about
that thing was about 2 weeks ago, man.
Yeah, that wasn't too long ago. So
that's not the other day.
Okay, sorry. It was a couple weeks ago. You had a live stream that I watched. You know what? Screw you. I'm not going to watch your live streams anymore then.
Dang.
I was trying to promote your content.
What you were talking about. I'm like, I haven't live stream in a minute.
Like a couple weeks ago. Anyway, you guys go watch Emperor Baron Black on YouTube as well. All right, so tomorrow, guys, I have a video tomorrow morning. Remember, guys, all the OJ Live content, if you want to watch OJ Live, they'll be on the main page under the OJ Live playlist. They're not going to be in your inboxes anymore because I want you guys to just watch my videos. So please stop skipping my videos, watch them. So we're not going to be clogging you guys' inboxes with OJ Lives and live streams. This PE podcast will be available for replay sometime. I don't know, whenever I feel like putting it up. Probably after tomorrow, after I get tomorrow's video out, because we're trying to get some more views on the videos. We should definitely be getting better. So you guys watch my videos if you can. And yeah, we will be back tomorrow for more streaming. There'll be a short stream tomorrow, but tomorrow is Mama Day, so I'm gonna go see my mom. So yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. But all right, one more big thing. Yes, the MVC podcast. I was on IGN's MVC podcast.
Yeah, I was watching that, man.
Yeah, make sure you guys check that out. We talked about Smash Brothers and all sorts of other stuff. So
that was really good.
Make sure you guys check it out. A big love to Brian Altano and Casey and Zach and the IGN production team for having me on. I appreciate them. So you guys go check out the Nintendo Voice Chat podcast. I was on the latest episode of that, so check it out. But all right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys.
He's gonna be working for IGN next year. What?
Who?
You guys. You're gonna be on IGN next year. Like you're gonna be Mr. Big Time.
I'm gonna be working for them.
Yeah.
No.
One day.
No.
Okay.
I don't know about working for them. I know about
you're gonna be working for them.
No.
Yeah, you sure is. You know what?
I think VC's phone died on him.
They needed a replacement for Matt for like over a decade and a half.
They would have to the amount of money would have to be significant. So anyway.
Oh wow,
I see you.
Because like I'd have to move to there, so that means
I get you, OJ.
Sell this house and then living in San Francisco. Yeah, that's expensive, or Los Angeles.
I get you, bro.
So yeah, but all right, I'm gonna be here for the time being. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Bye, everybody. Thanks for the support too.
Peace, y'all. Y'all be easy.